All right, I hit the button. I hit the button.
Hit the button.
Yeah, no, I hit it. I hit the big red one, and we're recording.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
So I suppose we have two new people here this week, as our intrepid Jew and our Australian medic are elsewhere doing fun things. Figured I would bring in. What do you guys want me to refer to you as? Your account names or your actual names? Do you care?
Brandon's fine.
Real name's fine.
Real name's fine. All right. So then I have Brandon and Aaron here.
Hello.
I guess I'll start with Aaron, Mecha.
Yes. All right. So my name is Mecha. My real name is Aaron, as just spoken to by Jared. Basically, how I met Jared was back in June or July, and we were doing Payday the Heist. And this was back when I was really active into Payday, and I really loved it. I loved the concept of it. And I just got my golden mask, and I was helping a friend of mine get his gold mask, and then I saw Jared's game. It was either First World Bank or which was it? First World Bank, Jared?
Diamond Heist.
Diamond Heist. Okay, so it was Diamond Heist, and at this point, I think I had already uploaded my infamous Diamond Heist video on my YouTube channel, and I essentially mastered the stealth in Diamond Heist, and basically it was him, Rhino. It was him. It was you, Rhino, and was Main there at the time, or was it afterwards?
It was.
It was after. I think it was First World Bank when he popped up.
No, the first day was you, me, Main, and I can't remember his name right now.
Oh, the guy that used to hack.
Yeah, we didn't know that at the time. Anyway, there was four of us.
Anyway, so basically they all got downed, and it was basically me by myself, and I eventually got everyone up, and I think I also got the red diamond. No, I didn't get the big red diamond.
Not on that one, no.
But no, not on that one. But we did complete the mission, and I had a lot of fun. Like, he was actually one of the few randoms that was actually enjoyable to play with. And I normally don't add random people, nor do I let random people add me. So I added him to my friends list, and then we did another one. We did First World Bank, and that's when we met Main and maybe one other person I don't know.
We started playing in that map, though, and you're like, oh, yeah, I'm recording for YouTube. And Main's like, oh, me too. I'm like, yeah, I'm on Twitch.
You're on Twitch. And that's when I found out that you streamed. And then, essentially we went on this run where I basically helped Jared get his golden mask. Unfortunately, we still owe someone else a golden mask.
Oh, Rhino, oh god. Anyway,
yeah. And it got to the point where I was playing with Jared enough when he was doing a lot of Payday on Twitch that I noticed some of his viewers started recognizing me, like they were asking for me. And I got really happy, so I maybe wanted to go onto Twitch and start talking to chat, and basically the rest is history, and here I am. So
that is Mecha and his introduction to the terrible world that is me. Brandon, you're the first person I've had on here. I mean, yeah, this is the second one, but the first person I've had on here who actually knows me in the real world. Oh, God.
RL. See, I helped build you into who you are. I made you an asshole.
Oh, I see how it is. I made you.
No, I met you, what was it, 10 years ago?
Yeah, probably.
Met you
I was going into high school.
I was still in elementary school. You were in high school. I kind of pursued him for a while. Sounds creepy, but
oh, hey now.
Used by a mutual friend of ours, and since then I've just kind of always been around. I'm the one that is younger, but everybody thinks is the same age, so they think I was from a different town. But yeah, I'm just a real life friend. I'm a game developer and for my career.
Yeah, now come out of school and you're getting into all that fun stuff.
Yeah, so that kind of helps with things like this.
Yeah.
Other than that, yeah, I play games like anybody else.
That's kind of why we're all here.
I play the games.
I play games.
That's all we do. But yeah, so of course I still have Lone here from last week, so I don't think that me or him need any introductions, and if we do, you should probably go watch the first one. Beyond that, beyond that, we actually have topics today. It's weird. Last time, it's just fuck it, kind of stuff maybe we should talk about, but who knows. We're going to try and bring it closer into gaming this week so that people can come here for gaming and Twitch information if they'd like. So I figure we may as well start with all the stuff that happened in my stream this week. So we've got Monday through Friday, of course, that I stream. Monday, I guess the first topic we'll touch on is I finally got around to playing the Assassin's Creed 4 DLC for Black Flag. Which is Freedom Cry, where you play as Adewale, your quartermaster from the majority of the first game. He's now become an assassin, and it is a heavily slavery-based DLC, where you're doing a lot of freeing slaves and building a rebellion. It's not overly long. I would say if you just went straight for the main storyline, you could probably do it in 3.5 hours. Not too much. It took me about 5, but I got a little bit caught up in just randomly freeing slaves to see what all the unlockables they give you was.
Well, that's what a lot of players are. After they're gonna play that, are probably gonna do that too.
Yeah, well, I mean, especially when you free your first couple and it's like, oh yeah, well, go to the first store. You walk over. It's like, all right, so as you free more slaves, here's your upgrades. It's like, holy shit, well, fuck the storyline. I want these upgrades.
That sounds dandy and all, but it may sound like the DLC may be a little repetitive. I mean,
it wasn't very big, was I think the big issue. The game itself, of course, is a full game, so it was the entirety of their map is a bunch of different towns and a bunch of different locations, whereas this one was a boat relatively quickly is given to you the ability to do all the diving quests and hunt for things with harpoons. The upgrades were very, very easy with just cash that you'll get a lot of by opening a few of the chests in the beginning. You can buy maxed upgraded shells and all that tell you need to progress further through the story to get them, but you can just buy them. I don't know what was up that. It made you really powerful, and it was relatively small, so it just felt like a rushed version. I mean, it was still really, really fun, and it's just DLC. It's not like it's a game. You shouldn't have the same standard, but
then again, it is DLC. Yeah. So I mean, I feel like a lot of DLC gets rushed. So that which I don't think it's really worth purchasing personally, but
it was given the $10 price tag.
No, $10. I mean, and it got you an extra 4 hours of playtime.
Yeah, I mean, even just fucking around. The first time I touched it's 5, and you can still screw around in those locations. There were plantations around I didn't go to either. I mean, for all I know, I missed a whole wonderful side story. But it was such a small thing that one of the things I remarked on when I was playing it is there's a scene. I won't give the spoilers, but basically a bunch of people who don't know end up dying. And it's supposed to be some sort of touching, mistakes were made kind of thing, but you didn't know them. And even if it was one of the characters you'd known, you'd only actually been around these characters for such a small period of time that you weren't invested in them at all. So it's supposed to be a touching / angry scene, and
So it was lacking on character development, is what you were saying.
Well, yeah, I mean, especially when compared to the main storyline. In the main storyline, now most of the characters are historically correct, so we knew a lot of them were going to die. Not that a lot of them did, but a few of them did. And when they died, almost every single person who went, you had some attachment to. Whether all of a sudden you wanted somebody to die because they were a dick and then they did, or you didn't want someone to die and then they did and you were pissed off. There was an actual emotional development there. Whereas in this, I think they could have killed just about any character except for Adewale, and I might not have given a shit.
No?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, that's understandable.
It's a depressing thing about gaming, but unless you have time to really build an investment, and the best way to build an investment is to make you like a character, usually by making them really funny or
give them a personality.
Yeah, or make them really good at something. Whereas the characters here just seemed like they were all very white knightish. I get the whole slavery information coming out, and they probably were very touch and go in making the DLC entirely because you bring something like that out that's based around slavery, and even though you're freeing slaves and you're assisting in historical accuracy to teach people, there's going to be somebody who gets offended because there's a bunch of slaves.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, and quite honestly, a lot of less effort goes into the DLC because so few people play it
Yeah.
Versus the actual game, like everything goes into the game. That's where they want the story. That's where they want the attention. And you, like in a $10 DLC, who's really going to play it? Maybe 4% of their player base, 5% of their player base.
Like the really hardcore fans.
Yeah.
That's exactly it. So
Yeah.
you can press them, or you can just use it to give them more gameplay and make some money, right?
Yeah,
So,
and I mean, the single-player campaign for that game was phenomenal. I mean, we talked about this last week. It's probably my game of the year for 2013. I absolutely adored it. And it's not that the DLC was bad. I loved it, too. I loved that they swapped a couple of things out. Like, instead of just copy-pasting your weapons, they gave you more of an axe-based main weapon instead of sword, and then they gave you a blunderbuss instead of pistols. Now, nothing can ever compete with Kenway's pistols. When you fully upgrade those things, you just cleared a boat in 2 seconds and just shot everybody. And it may seem like maybe that's OP, but it's just so much fun to do.
Oh, I bet.
And
Oh, it is.
yeah, they replace it with the blunderbuss, which it's not as cool as the pistols, but right near the end of the game, I gathered probably 30 to 40 guards just because of how one of the last missions goes. And I gathered them around myself and did a little loop around into a big group, fired, and I must have killed 15, 20 people with a single shot. It was real satisfying. It was the closest I've ever seen Assassin's Creed come to a bowling simulation. And it was I thoroughly enjoyed it. It was really good shit.
yeah, but on the note of not really being sad as to whether players die or not, I find so few games actually make you feel for the characters. Like Mass Effect did a pretty good job of it.
Mass Effect, I believed 1 and 2 did a good job. I wasn't as big of a fan of number 3.
Well, see, I've never played the Mass Effect game trilogy. I mean,
they're phenomenal. I love them. It's one of my favorite RPGs. So
I had the same issue. It's the same issue I have with Skyrim. If I play it, I'm gonna get sucked in, and I don't have the time for it.
Well, I mean, I had probably an unhealthy attachment to Liara in the first game. And then they...
okay, I'm not alone here. All right.
Oh yeah, what?
I prefer blue aliens over white chicks. I'm just saying.
But I mean, it's like it was just that personality. I fucking adored her. And then in the second game, at least before the DLC came out, she just had like a cameo where she was real cold to you, and I was like, fucking god damn it. And then the DLC came out. It was really, really good for Mass Effect 2. But I see it in the third one. They had like a little bit of a send off with whoever you'd kind of been with in the game, and it was just it felt like fan service. It was just a real quick thing where it was like, oh yeah, here's a little scene for you. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like for her, you get a little scene where basically she like takes you out into space mentally, and I guess it's supposed to be touching, and it's kind of cool, but it really needed to be fucking more. You needed to do something, or she needed to be with you, whoever it was you picked, to make you care more. I mean, we could talk about Mass Effect to death, because it's been beaten pretty heavily since it ended.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like, I cared a lot in that game about the characters. I cared a lot in Assassin's Creed 4 about the characters. Last of Us, I cared a lot, too.
Yeah, I just pointed that out because like it's really one of the only games that really did a lot to the character development. And Last of Us, that's like another good one as well.
Walking Dead.
Yeah, Walking Dead. I was just gonna say Walking Dead.
Yeah.
Those are phenomenal games. Like
Yeah.
it's one of the few point and click adventure games, especially by Telltales. And I've tried what was it, Back to the Future? Those are pretty good, but
Yeah,
I
those were
mean,
decent, but,
they weren't as story driven as The Walking Dead. And I loved season 1. I loved it, and I was ashamed that I lost my saved file that could migrate into season 2. So basically, it basically just randomly chose decisions that were made into season 1 because I had to start fresh. For the most part, they were about, I would say, 80% accurate. But episode 1 of season 2, oh my god, it is so depressing.
Yeah.
What did you expect?
Yeah.
No, like you would figure like at episode 3 or something. Like season 1 didn't really get heart-wrenching up until like episode 3 or episode 2 or 3.
Here was the real issue about season 1. They had to introduce you to the characters.
Yeah.
In this one, they do have to introduce you to new characters, but you know a lot about Clementine.
And the backstory of Clementine.
Yeah.
But it's not. Part of the what really gets you emotionally is part of it is the characters that were introduced in episode 1, but there was also just um, several minor characters that you instantly kind of felt bad when you kind of saw their demise. Like, if you guys seen anything at all about episode 1?
I haven't.
I
haven't
have.
played it at all.
Do you? Well, this is probably gonna be spoilers, so I probably shouldn't talk about it. But there's just one part where I actually almost cried because it was just so bad because it forced you to make a hard decision. And
I think we're talking about the same area where, man, I won't say it, but I know what part you're talking about.
It's where I'm not gonna go into details, but it was it forced you to make a decision that ultimately you knew the right thing to do, but it was just so difficult to make. That is very hard. That's very rare to see.
Well,
in a lot of games nowadays.
Point and clicks do that shit really, really well, though, because if you have to make a hard decision, not only do you know, hey, this is a hard decision. Like, I'll go back to something I do know. Say it's the beginning of The Walking Dead Season 1, Episode 1.
Right.
At least I think it was Episode 1, where you get to the farm.
No,
that's one. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that was still a part of 1.
Yeah, that's part of 1. Sorry.
And you've got to deal with Herschel's kid out back.
Yeah.
And it's either save him or save the kid on the
Duck.
Yeah, or save Duck. And every single time I tried to save the guy.
Yeah.
But I knew, even when I came back and replayed it, what was going to play out there. And I won't worry too much about spoilers because most people have played or seen this now that we're severely through it and on to Season 2. But no matter what you do, he's fucked.
Yeah.
Like, there's no option to save him. And it really sucks because you want to, and if you try and save him, you then have to travel with Duck's family, they use that against
pissed off at
you. They're gonna fucking hate you,
yeah. But they use that against you, but you knew it was the right decision to try and save the guy because it's not like the guy was stuck.
Yeah.
But you still get in trouble for it, and it's one of those things where you have to decide also who do you want to save, and what in the long run is going to be better for the game.
Yeah.
So you get stuck between morality and gameplay.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, kids are useless in a zombie apocalypse. I would like to have the guy, like, fuck the kid. You can feed him. We can eat him for God's sake. He's more useful that way. Like,
well, especially the guy who knows fucking woodworking and knows to barricade shit and like was interested in defending, and the kid's just fucking around.
Well,
and the kid killed him. Like, yeah. Anyways,
well, nobody likes that kid. Nobody likes that kid.
No.
Nobody. Everybody hates him. Everybody says kill him.
I think it was also due, in fact, that Kenny was just standing there watching his son get grappled by like 2 zombies. So it was partly in fact that
he could have done something for his
he could have done something. It wasn't just oh my god, I forgot the name of the main character that you play.
Lee.
The black guy. I forgot his name. Lee. Okay, yeah. Lee was the only one doing anything. Like, Herschel was getting his shotgun. Kenny was just standing there watching his son get grappled. And
we don't know what Nacho was.
To be honest, I hated Kenny through most of that game, right up until the very end. Like
he was so wishy-washy.
But like the last chapter, I started to really like him. And well, it was another one of those things that, I mean, this one I won't spoil much, but like he jumps down into a building to help somebody out, and you're sitting up on the roof going like, I'll wait, and I'm like, no, get in the hole, get in the hole, get in the hole, get in that fucking hole, help him.
Yeah, that was another. That whole game was very sad.
It was,
but it's supposed to be like a lot of people
you're expected to get. I'm sorry.
A lot of people, their only introduction to Walking Dead is the TV show.
Yeah,
that's for a lot of people. Years ago, I read the comics, and they're scary because you never know who's gonna die or what's gonna happen, or people get maimed all the fucking time.
Well, I was one of those people that was introduced to the show before the comic book,
which is most people.
Yeah,
but I mean, if you read the comic, it's just the whole way through. You'll constantly see characters you just absolutely love get dismembered or killed or zombified or completely fucked up, and you're like, holy shit, that came out of nowhere. Suddenly we lost like 90% of the cast.
See, but that's what makes it so good is because you never know who's going to get hurt, and they're willing to hurt anybody. Like
Yeah.
in the show, they don't want to kill the main characters, right? Like, I'm not going to
Well-
spoil anything, but they killed certain people so that they could do certain things,
They
and you
killed, like,
could expect
all-
who's going to die. It's so predictable.
No,
They
like
killed-
in the comic, they killed like almost all the main characters.
Yeah, and that's what's good because as long as they're introducing people to kind of replace those people and bring it together and keep like a group, it keeps you interested. As long as they put some sort of emotional attachment. Same thing with the game, right? Like they could kill off everybody as long as they've got some sort of group going.
No, they couldn't. No.
Well, in the game, they did.
Yeah, they
Yeah.
did. Do I want to stay alive?
Like straight up.
You have that one character that you want to live, and that's Clem.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah, okay, yeah, I can see that. If Clem died, that would be game over.
Well, I mean,
Yeah,
but
remember.
they did the same thing in the show, right? Or in the comic, I suppose. There's one character who never really had anything terrible happen directly to them, and that was, I can't remember his fucking name, the kid.
Carl.
Yeah, like nothing really happens to him. His dad gets fucked up. His mom, obviously, in the show even gets fucked up. Everyone around him gets fucked up, and it's more of a learning experience for him, much like in Telltale's it's a learning experience for Clementine, where she's growing and surviving, and it's the same thing for him in the comic. Whereas everybody else is on the bottom
Free
of the
game.
fucking food chain.
Everybody else is free game.
Like in each of these instances for all the versions of Walking Dead, I mean, I don't watch the show. It's much like Game of Thrones for me. I've kept away from it. But these people can die at any time in the game and the comic, but in the TV show, the fucking jag-off with the crossbow, Daryl,
Yeah.
he's not in the comic.
No, he's not. Most people don't realize that.
And he's so likable in the TV show, from what I've read, that they couldn't possibly kill him.
No, if they do this,
If they kill him, a lot of people would stop watching, and that's
Yeah,
the problem.
they would lose a giant audience.
It would be too much money.
Yeah.
To kill him off, which is, you get to that point where it's why I like George R.R. Martin and Game of Thrones, because I know who's going to die, and they're not going to deviate from the books. They've asked him to a couple of times, and he's been like, no.
Yeah.
If I die, maybe you can take creative control from me, but
Let's hope that happens anytime soon.
well, he was
He's
worried.
got to finish a couple more books.
Well, he was actually worried about that. He's drafted the books.
Uh-huh.
This is why this last book has taken so long to come out. He's
Right.
drafting all of them until the end, and he's shown them to the director and the producer of the show,
Mhm.
so that they know how it's supposed to go and how it's supposed to end. On the off chance that he dies, because he was worried about it. I mean, if you've ever seen the guy, he's fucking huge.
Yeah.
And anything could happen at any point in time.
Yeah.
So if he goes, he wanted to make sure they knew exactly what he wanted.
Right.
Well, it's
And
his vision. It should follow what he wants because
Right.
it belongs to him, right?
Well,
Like
the same thing like Tom Clancy.
Yeah.
With his son.
yeah, because he died and the division went on hiatus, and his son came in and took creative control back and said, "All right, we're finishing this." Like,
Yeah.
fuck that. We're not just fucking throwing my dad's work away just because he happened to die first.
Yeah.
Which, I mean, it's what worries me is if George R. R. Martin died, they may do what would make them more money, even though it's Dan's
definitely.
dying wish.
they would, to be honest with you.
They
If they could
definitely
increase
would.
profits 15%, they would. There's
Oh yeah,
no way.
hands down. Like nobody in an industry making money wouldn't. And that's fucked up because I'm a person who believes in, morality and all that fucked up shit, but that has no place in business.
No.
That's not going to help them. They're obviously just going to take whatever they can. They'll show more tits, less dicks, and bring everything into the highest profit margin they possibly can.
Yep.
Whereas George R. R. Martin wants it to be as is.
Yeah.
And it's good because I've read all of his shit, and there's been a few characters where I've been legitimately pissed and had to put the book down and walk away for a little while and then come back and keep reading and get through that chapter and then be okay, I have to admit they're dead, move on.
See, but it's funny because, like, a lot of shows lose over time, like all their viewers, things like that. People get bored. Whereas for his movies, I feel like it doesn't have quite the fan base, but the fan base is sticking with the entire series. Like, I feel like anybody that starts watching it watches it all the way through, or most people versus other series.
See, like when I started off, I started off after third season already ended. Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And I had the time to watch all the seasons, and so I watched one or two episodes. I'm like, this is pretty good, so I started watching more, and 10 hours later, here I am.
Yep.
Or, however long it is.
But like, for example, Walking Dead, everybody stopped watching on like season 3 that have stopped. Like,
Yeah,
a lot of people have carried it out, yeah, which is normal. But so many people stopped watching like season 2 and 3 because the prison got so boring.
Yeah.
Which, to be very honest with you, it was pretty fucking boring in the comics too.
Yeah.
They just sat around there for like 90% of the comics, and then it was like, all right, here's a shit ton of action and a lot of bad shit, and okay, now we'll go do other stuff again.
That's exactly where the show is right now. They had to do something to get them to leave the prison, and they had to set it up so that like there's certain things that restricted them there, and they had to break those, like the walls, like they were secure. Why leave? They had to make it insecure for reasons.
Well, I mean, have you read the comic?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't read them all, but quite a few. Yeah.
You've read Out of the Prison, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that in the comic was amazing. That in the show, because they've deviated so much, I don't know that it will be as cool.
It was okay. It was a bit of a letdown, admittedly, compared to the comics.
Yeah.
But I wasn't unhappy with it, but it could have been better.
Well, here's a little bit of the spoiler for you, Alone. In the comics, they loaded up 3 of the main characters in full riot gear, gave them a shit ton of weapons, and started World War III.
What?
That was how the comic went. That's how the end of the prison went.
Okay.
Somebody drove through all of the walls,
Mm-hmm.
and 3 of the main characters just tooled out in body armor and guns, went to town, fighting a town worth of people, and most of the cast from both the town and the prison did not survive this event.
Really?
Yeah, by the time they left, I think there was it just the 2 of them that walked away? Or was it...
There was 4, I think.
4 of them walked away. 4 of the main characters walked away.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody from the town walked away, and everyone else was dead. That was it.
Wow.
That was how the comic went. They cleared house.
Well, even like Robert Kirkman said, he was in an interview. If people don't know, Robert Kirkman is one of the executive producers on the show, and he's a creator of the comic.
Yeah.
And he said, yeah, we deviate on the show for a reason. What we do in the comics, we can't do in the show, production-wise.
It'd be too expensive, and I don't think too many people would watch it. It was cool, but people get attached.
Well, people get attached to certain characters, and when those characters go, they quit. Which again is why Game of Thrones is so weird, because it's carried through, even though they kill so many people. Like, people comment, "Oh, my favorite character is dead," but I've watched 3 more episodes. Like, for a lot of shows, you would just stop watching.
My favorite character's gone, but I still want to know what happens.
Well, here's the thing, though. The really cool thing about the Game of Thrones is his writing style. Each character develops so much.
Yeah.
Like, we'll use Jaime as an example. In the beginning, in Season 1, and what I'll assume is Season 2, he's a fucking asshole.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to do anything with him. He's just a dick, and people start to really, really, really hate him.
Yeah. Season 3 where he changes.
Well, by the time the TV show catches up with the books, if you're anything like me, he's going to become one of your favorite characters.
Yeah.
You're going to want him to survive so badly every time you see him in a possible bad situation. It's going to freak you the hell out. And this is a guy that at one point in time you wanted to see fucking dragged behind a horse until there was nothing left.
Yeah.
He's really good at that. So where he may kill your favorite characters, some of your least favorite characters are going to replace that one.
Yeah.
Like, he does to a few people.
And that's good storytelling, because you can keep a story going and do whatever you want. Like, Mass Effect did a pretty good job of that too. They switched your attention quite a bit. Now, it was always on the characters that were kind of beside you, but they made quite a few characters important.
Yeah.
So they didn't kill a lot of people, but I mean,
do
you do that?
I can use that, I guess, to segue, because I wanted to try and bring us back to gaming anyway.
Yeah.
I was kind of directing it that way.
Knowledge of Walking Dead or Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
No knowledge.
Like, I don't watch either of these shows, but I've read them previous. But
well, Aaron, you should change that, because Telltale's actually doing a Game of Thrones game.
Are they
Which
really?
I'm curious how they're going to do that.
That's interesting. That's probably that's probably gonna be after the Borderlands Telltale game coming out.
But
I think they're releasing it around the same time.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
I think so.
You got to think about this is essentially just a choose your own adventure, fucking text adventures that they've just added stylized art to. So all they need to pay is a writing staff and a really easy looking animation style.
They still got to do the Wolf Among Us. Still.
Yeah. See, I'm not buying that, and I'm not buying season 2. I'm waiting until they're done.
Yeah.
And I will get a bunch of spoilers in the meantime. I know I will, but I'd rather not play a little bit, come back to it a few months later, play a little bit, come back to it a few months later. I'd rather just play it. Because, especially, I was talking about this last week, I did Walking Dead 1, episode 1, came back when it was like episode 4 and 5 was just about to come out, and I'd lost my save. It told me my save was there, but the choices I made were not the same ones that I'd made. And I had to start over again anyway. And that was fine because it had been so long that whatever, I'll just go through this. But at the same time, I don't want to go through that every couple of months.
Yeah.
But to bring it back, he was talking about the attachment to characters and storyline. And I guess I can go on to day 2. Tuesday on the stream, I picked up Assassin's Creed Liberation. The Vita HD remake for, I guess, the consoles and PC now.
Oh, is it PC now too?
Yeah, it's been on Steam.
Yeah, it's on Steam.
Oh, okay.
I got it for console because I prefer playing Assassin's Creed.
Yeah.
Like, immensely.
Yeah.
But, I mean, that game was interesting. It's being hailed right now across fucking all the shit I can see on Twitter is just being amazing. Everybody fucking loved it. It was great. I didn't dislike it.
Yeah.
Thought it was probably one of the best combat systems I've ever seen in an Assassin's Creed game. If you did it right with her, you could kill like 15 people in the same amount of seconds.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Like she's
the combat system flowed really well.
And once you get the Indiana Jones whip, I mean, there's people are really gimmicky fucking let's use it to swing on shit. Oh my god. But for combat, it's great. It just, you can kind of go into these little cutscenes where you chain kill people, and with the whip you can grab guys from relatively far away and add them into this. And it was really, really great. It had that same problem we were just talking about. The story was
lackluster.
Yeah, it didn't feel as epic. I mean, maybe I just came down from Assassin's Creed Black Flag into Liberation, and technically I should be comparing it to 3, and compared to 3, it still wasn't as good story-wise as 3. Like, 3 ended on a really high note.
Yeah, it did.
But it was still good. Just
compared
not as
to
good
3.
as Black Flag.
Yeah.
But I'm comparing a generation ahead. That's not fair. The storyline was... It was an interesting game style. Instead of, in Assassin's Creed, you've always got your kind of notoriety, and you've got to deal with taking down posters or bribing people and all that fun shit. In this game's case, you had 3 versions of that. You could dress as a lady with a little fucking umbrella with blow darts in it. You could dress as your assassin, which could climb walls and do all sorts of, all of your damage and shit. Or you could dress as a slave and murder the shit out of people with a fucking hatchet. Or a machete.
That's awesome.
And they each had different levels of will people yell at you when they see you in the streets.
Okay. So like slave would be, obviously.
Well, I mean, normally they're all 0. Your assassin one's always a little bit up. The guards are on the lookout for the assassins.
Okay.
But then if you kill people as your slave, your little notoriety bar will go up. And if you beat the shit out of people as a lady, your little notoriety bar will go up. And then you can either kill witnesses for your lady, tear down posters as a slave, or your assassin lost stuff by bribing people.
Okay.
And
that's
so,
cool.
it was definitely an interesting concept. I like the change. What I didn't like is they added tailors so that you could buy different costumes. But the costumes were all the same. They were just different color palettes.
Yeah.
Oh, that's lame.
So you had the same dress. You could just get it green, blue, red, black, yellow.
Kind of like the robes and all the other Assassin's Creeds.
Yes, except that it wasn't like... It didn't add anything to it. Like Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood, when you upgraded your armor and got new pieces, you could see those pieces change.
Yeah, because it was like metal or silver.
Yeah, and then you could add the dyes to them. Like I had black and red and just like full metal armor on.
Yeah.
Looked really, really fucking cool.
Or if you was in Brotherhood, you got Romulus armor, which was really awesome.
Whereas in this one, it was her just color palette changing. And it was a little bit smaller than the average Assassin's Creed. It only went to 9 segments.
I was assuming it would have gone to 6. So.
Huh?
I said with it being like a beta, I would assume it's 6, but 9's a decent amount.
I mean, 9 is 3/4 of a game compared to the other ones, and it was when comparing that it was originally a mobile game. It's a little bit smaller. They've got less time to fit stuff into it. The combat system just fucking great, eh? The story, I really didn't like what they were trying to do with the ending.
Yeah.
It was like they played it out like the game was essentially an Abstergo ad. And at the end, you found out that the Templars were good, and you joined the Templars, and everyone was happy, yay! And then somebody's like hacking into it, and they're like, alright, so here's what really happened. And it changes the ending completely to what would have actually been the ending.
What they call the truth?
Yeah, it's like the true ending. I'm not going to say what happened again, because I don't want... Certain people didn't have the Vita, they're just playing through it right now, I don't want to ruin that for them.
Yeah.
But I didn't like it because it felt very rushed when you actually got into that true ending. It was basically just...
It was really a dream, but everybody is actually robot Nazi zombies.
No, it literally was just one fight in a cutscene.
Yeah.
And that was it. And it was just like, really? You made me run through a gauntlet, which I cheated at. I actually found an area you could climb onto and jump pretty much near the end from the beginning. So I didn't even go around their fucking path like they wanted me to.
Nice.
And you go through that, you get this guy, it goes out of the real cutscene, and the game just ends. And it was like they played the credits on the fake cutscene, or part of them, went into the, oh, you're being hacked, do this, here's the real one, and then they just played the credits again. And I was like, really? And they left so many things unresolved. Like, I'll do a little bit of spoiling. She's looking for her mother, who you find partway through the game, and you know where she is, and they spend the end of the game basically talking about how your mother's not fucking there, and I would have liked to have seen a brief cutscene where she just walks up to her mom at the end and like gives her a hug, and it's like, oh yay, happy ending. It's like, no, it's just she's there, but who knows if we'll ever actually go visit mommy.
Like the storyline, especially if you was watching it in stream, you get to a point where like, oh yay, they're probably going to explain something. Nope. It's like just a little bit of a tease. You
have to know Assassin's Creed lore to kind of guess at what they're talking about.
Yeah.
If you don't know, if you've never played an Assassin's Creed game before and you play this one, you will be confused as fuck. They make no attempt to explain it. It's much like the DLC for Assassin's Creed 4. They kind of hint at things that if you don't know the lore, you're going to have no idea what the fuck they're talking about.
Yeah.
And it's
I thought it made it a much more interesting game if they could have had an interaction, especially with the Freedom Cry as well, between Adewale and Kenway, the same way that they could have interacted with whatever her name was in Liberations with Connor.
Yeah.
But that's something that would interest me, is to see the storylines cross paths.
Well, it's really weird because the only thing I saw in the DLC for Assassin's Creed was they mentioned that they think his ship was sunk.
Really?
And I did one of the diving missions, and I found the, I can't remember what the hell they're called now, the thing on the front of the boat.
The
fucked up looking eagle thing off of Kenway's ship.
Like the mounts or something like
the figurehead.
Yeah,
the figurehead.
When I did the diving mission, you could find the figurehead in front of a boat under the water and steal it and put it on your boat.
Oh, okay.
But I don't think that was Kenway's ship. Because Kenway's story is that he goes back to, what, England?
Yeah,
and
with
then,
his daughter and son.
Yeah, well, he's got his daughter, and then he has a son, and his son is Connor's dad.
Yeah, Haytham Kenway.
Yeah, which leads into the next game.
Yeah.
But I mean, who knows what the fuck happened after that? Like, maybe he had the kid and left?
Yeah.
Maybe he took them on his boat for a little while? Like, who knows? But we know for sure that the son is alive by the time Assassin's Creed 3 starts, because he's one of the main characters. We don't know what happens to the daughter, and we don't know what happens to him. So technically, they could put him and the daughter, if they wanted to, into DLC.
Yeah.
But they just kind of mention it. I would have really liked to have seen him, because Kenway is entertaining and funny and enjoyed what he was doing.
Yeah.
Whereas Adewale was very stony and straight-faced.
Stonewall.
Yeah, he was very stoic in what he did, and it was just like, okay, well, I'd like to see them interacting, because even in Assassin's Creed 4, they interact a little bit, but it's always like Adewale automatically defers to him.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't want to step on any toes and lose his position.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a couple of times where he kind of challenges you, but there wasn't a lot of back and forth. There wasn't a lot of character building between them. Adewale showed up in fuck all cutscenes. He was basically just there to talk to you between sailing points when you weren't listening to shanties.
Mm.
And I would have liked to have seen more character development from Adewale via his old captain.
Yeah.
And I would have liked to have seen Kenway actually fighting people. Like, you're not controlling him, and he's just murdering things on his own.
Yeah.
Like that would have been really cool. I was talking about this when we did Liberation, is that I like to see those crossovers. And then I saw one, and I was happy that I saw it, because originally I'd played that game on Vita before I had mine stolen, but I only got to play it for about an hour and a fucking half. And I missed out on a lot of shit. So it was really cool to see this. It was really cool to see, the interaction between them, and I would have loved to have seen it in Assassin's Creed 4. But unfortunately, that's not something that a lot of game developers do.
Yeah.
Marvel's doing it in movies right now with the Avengers. I'd like to see more game companies do crossovers and interaction.
Yeah.
But once it makes sense. Like Sonic hanging out with Snake from Metal Gear, that would be weird. I don't care.
Fuck yeah, dude.
But I wouldn't care. That would fucking be weird to me. It would be like, okay, Smash Bros. Shit, where none of the characters talk and they all run into each other and grunt and point and moan and die. And it's weird, but I'd like to see characters that make sense meeting each other.
See, and games kind of follow or shows and movies in terms of kind of patterns they use.
Yeah.
And movies or shows have started doing that now. Like my sister was watching, I think it's like True Blood, and it's broken into Origins, which is how the vampires from True Blood became. And then they went off and did another town with a different set, and they're tying all these together. So I have a funny feeling that games will do that coming in the next year. I think a lot of games will kind of merge like that.
We talked about this last week. Is Adam? Our Jew, Adam, mentioned that Watch Dogs is potentially going to have an Easter egg in it where you can see Abstergo Industries' main building. It's going to be in the city. So you could swing by and see Abstergo. That's cool. You know what I'd like to see, though, is maybe the character you're playing as in the new Assassin's Creed, who we don't even know what fucking gender you are.
No.
I think it's hinted that you're a guy, but we don't fucking know. I would like to see you interacting with that person. Like, maybe you've got a side mission that they just tack in as DLC or something like that, where you kind of find out about the Assassins, and you find out about the Templars, and you can help some of the characters from the game do something via hacking. Like, maybe you're hacking into the security cameras at Abstergo, and you're helping them out. You never even have to be there, you just get a cameo. I'd love
that. That would be cool. Yeah, like you deactivate the security systems or whatever you do, right? That would actually be an awesome merge.
Well, especially because through most of Assassin's Creed 4, when you come out of the Animus, you're greeted by an asshole who's running all the security systems.
John from IT.
Yeah, and he's kind of he's kind of hacking in and out of stuff for you. And I'd like to see that maybe you replace him in Watch Dogs for like a side quest where you're now the IP guy in Abstergo, and you get to be like on the other side, just for a brief little like fan service cool thing. That would be really fucking cool to me. I would love that. And I mean, they're both Ubisoft games.
Yeah. So what I was going to say though is the problem with how game studios work right now is they're very independent. Like a game that makes, well, say for example Capcom, Remember Me versus Dead Rising. They don't want to merge those because the Japan studio doesn't like the Vancouver studio, and that happens so many times because they'll steal a certain employee and all of a sudden the whole studio hates them. Yeah. And they don't want to share assets, so those barriers kind of have to be broken down. Like a game or a studio set like EA. EA can pull it off with certain studios, but like BioWare hates everybody because everybody's tried to steal Mass Effect. So BioWare won't work with anybody, so you can't have anything from Mass Effect and anything else. And that's their big game right now. Like, well, recently.
Dude,
So
seriously though? Fucking Dragon Age Inquisition? I would literally remove digits to play that game right now.
Jesus.
So badly want to play that game.
All right.
when does it come out? Quarter 3?
Probably Q4.
Yeah, I was about to say Q4 makes more sense.
Yeah. It'll be a fucking probably October, November release.
Yeah.
It's
That would make sense.
a while.
Well, I like that it's using Frostbite for their engine.
I've seen some of their
new
gameplay
Frostbite.
videos too. Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god, it looks so beautiful, and they've added a lot of RTS elements, and it's just... Oh. But I mean, we're not going to see a lot of these cameos. We want them, but unfortunately, as far as human interaction goes, most people are greedy assholes. We've talked about this on stream before. Greed is a natural human emotion. It's not that, are we inherently evil? We're just greedy.
Yeah.
Why have less of something you love when you can have more of something you love? What the fuck? So you're going to see these companies that could be working together, but they're all going to think that they're slighting each other and be a bunch of fucking children about it. We're just not going to get that
We're not going to get the games that we want.
yet.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, yeah, everything with time though. Like, if EA starts doing something like that, all the other studios are kind of have to do something to meet them, right?
No, I don't think EA's got the standards that they used to have anymore.
Maybe.
No, EA is a terrible company, but at the same time, if they can profit off of it, the suits will arrange that.
But I mean, you laugh, but the two biggest fucking companies are EA and Ubisoft as far as gaming's concerned. And EA they're learning because they're hemorrhaging money.
Yeah.
So another one of the things I want to talk about today is SimCity, after all this fucking time, finally has an offline mode.
After a year.
It's
A year.
The issue is, of course, they want to do a money grab on this, so any mods you make in single-player offline SimCity belong to EA.
Really?
Yeah.
That's insane.
That's their model. If you make a mod, it belongs to them.
Well.
So, yes, more of a cash grab, but hey, at least you finally get your offline mode, and maybe
really.
after losing millions of fucking dollars with Battlefield, I don't know, they'll stop being so dumb on pushing games out early.
No.
Maybe. They're still recovering from the Mass Effect 3 thing. They got hit hard enough by so much hate that they had to make another fucking ending, which I still haven't even bothered to see.
I haven't seen the other ending either. I was so disappointed with the original one. I just...
But I mean, they got hit so fucking hard by that and by Battlefield that it's evolve or die.
Yeah.
Well, and a lot of studios. Sorry to keep going back to the studio side of things.
Dude,
but
it's fine. We don't know anything about that, so your input on it is very, very helpful.
But a lot of studios, like, there's a conflict between the art side and the money side. The suits want the game. They don't know about process. They don't care how many people it takes, anything like that. They want to know the bottom line. They want to know it costs this amount of money. It's going to be released at this time, and they'll hold you to that. And of course,
and this is how much we'll make.
Yeah, exactly. This is how much we'll make in this amount of time, and it'll be by this date. They want it by that date. So of course, if a game's running behind, a lot of studios, if they're independently funded or they're somehow privately funded, they'll just push back their date, and that costs a ton of money, but not nearly as much as releasing it and not having any units sold, right? So a lot of the time, it's the suits pushing this, and the art guys know the game isn't ready. Like, the people who make the game know there's no way it's selling, and the suits pull the plug. You guys don't get any money if you don't release a game, and they have to do it. So that's why so many games are failing. EA is the worst for that. Capcom is actually, after the Remember Me fiasco, they've learned. I guarantee you, they will not release a game that early again. Remember Me was an awesome game, but I mean, their marketing wasn't ready. The game failed. The game lost money. It's a failure.
It was such a small title not such a small title. Such a small advertising campaign that no one knew about it.
Exactly.
I saw a couple of ads for the game when it came out, or when it was coming out, but the ads were so lackluster that I was like, I'm not going to put that much money forth, because they weren't showing me the game, they were showing me the storyline. And I'm like, if this was a movie, I'd get the guys together and go watch it on Friday when it comes out. But because it's a game and I'm dropping $60 to play what looks okay, I'm not gonna bother.
See, and I love the game, but I waited till it was $15. Like, I was not gonna dish out $60 for it.
Yeah.
Well, the only reason I knew about it, I didn't even see ads for it. I was on the Xbox Live Arcade looking at demos for games that were coming out, and I saw Remember Me. I'm like, oh, this looks interesting. And it's like $60 for an arcade game. I'm like, nope.
Well, and the issue with that was, I believe with that studio, Japan didn't put any money into North American funding. They were going to release in Japan and Asia and then expand. But the suits are rescheduled the date, North American release date, so they didn't have any time to advertise. And because they had done that, they had canceled their North American release date and changed it like a quarter earlier. They didn't have any time. They were going to advertise all quarter, or like a quarter and a half, and then release it. And they didn't have the time. And the other issue with that game is they tried a female protagonist, and I think subconsciously people automatically assume that it'll be like a weaker or storyline or weaker character. And I still think we're at that point.
As a race, we're really bad for that right now. Where I know people are getting better. I actually prefer a strong female lead in my gaming. Like I never fucking swap my gender. Like when you have a game and you're making your character and you can be a female or a male, I'm a guy. I'm gonna play a male character. Like to me, someone who loves story building and all that fun shit, I can kind of envision that strong male lead and we're gonna go through this epic adventure. But I ended up with a female lead in Dragon Age, the first one, because I made a character, and I was like, I'm going to go Archer, I'll have fun with this. Archer, just terrible idea. It didn't fucking work out. It sucked. My character was so weak, it wasn't even funny. And I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to take a break, because I made this a little hard on myself. I'm going to make another character. This was back when I farmed a lot of achievements. And I'm going to get the achievement for the female romance things. So I'm like, I'm going to make a female warrior, and I'm just going to quickly burst out and get these achievements. And I started to love the class so much, and I loved the introduction story for the female character, and I loved how other characters responded and acted around her and to her, that I stuck with it. That was the file that I beat the game with, and I loved it. It was great to have a nice, strong female lead in there that could do whatever the fuck she wanted, who wielded a giant two-handed fucking sword, and got her shit done. Like, I liked that. I really, really did. And when I see a game with a female lead now, I like to think that it's going to be like that, but you get a lot of things where, like Last of Us drops a female lead, and she's a child. Yeah. So it's not that she's weak, it's that she's physically smaller because she's a child. And it made her seem so much weaker until later on in the game you get to play as her for a little bit, and you can kick a little bit of ass, and it's like, all right, she's fucking got this. But in the beginning, she's Ashley from Resident Evil. It's just bad.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm saying. Like, I think subconsciously, like, it's not a conscious decision we make that women are weak, but fact is, there are gender roles. Like,
it's ingrained through history, though.
Yeah, well, and naturally, like, I feel women are more intelligent typically. Now, not to say you can't have intelligent men, but that's a whole other side. But like, men are made to do the strong roles, whereas women are made to do all of the kind of background work and research and things like that. Like they're kind of like your intel people for games, for me. But they're not really made to play a real role, and I think that's where they took too much of a risk on that one.
I mean, I sat back and did a little bit of studying on genders when I was dating my ex, because her dad decided he was going to get into psychiatry towards the difference between men and women, and he taught me a lot about the patterns in our brains. That women are more emotional thinkers and men are logical thinkers. And I've said this before on stream, is that we can each get to the same solution or the same conclusion, but we'll travel down completely different paths to get there.
Yeah.
And I've noticed this a lot, is when you talk to women, at least around here, I don't know about the rest of the world, I can't speak for you, I haven't been through you, but women around here are highly intelligent in schooling and book smarts. But most of them are dumb as fuck when it comes to street smarts. Whereas a lot of guys... Skills. Well, yeah, like a lot of guys I know are real social and outgoing and all that, and we can be smart in book smarts, but it's a background thing. It's like, oh yeah, like we did our schoolwork and we aced it and it was good, but it's not like that was who we were while we were there. Whereas most women I know, while they're in school, that's all they are. They're just their schoolwork. They are a human face on a piece of paper while they work on their degrees.
Yeah.
Whereas we do that, but we are still social. We're doing everything logically. It just makes sense to us. Let's get this done. Whereas a lot of women are more emotional. You get that same kind of thing going on where they're doing their work, and I've had a lot of friends be like, oh, well, it's just because it's test time and she's stressed out and freaking out and she's fucking 30 times smarter than I am right now, but she's tripping shit. Whereas the guy is just getting pissed off. He's not being weird. You know what the hell's wrong with him. He's telling you.
Yeah.
Because logically, we're going to tell you because you should understand it's logical. Emotionally, they're working at a different wavelength. At the end of the day, they both got A's, they both passed their courses, they both moved into the workforce, they're both happy, but their journey was completely fucking different.
Yeah, and in general, like the thing is, women say what they mean, whereas women have a background of what they say rather, whereas men say what they mean, and they're two totally different things. And where was I going with this? No, I was. There was a point to it.
There was? You sure? Because I'm not seeing it.
It was about gender. Anyways, fuck it. Fuck you guys.
Where was I? Shit.
I know where I was going with it. I just don't remember the point. Anyways.
I think you're just blabbing at this point.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's bring Aaron back into the conversation.
Yes.
Aaron?
we're talking about, we're having little discussions about gender roles.
Yeah, and you've seen it before, so that's just a little awkward for you.
Yeah.
So we don't know a whole lot about it at this point, but I'll bring it back to what me and Aaron are known for doing together and the Payday.
I was about to say, you sure you want to bring that out to the public, Jared?
With the Payday thing?
Well,
the
I
fact
think
that
he's into
what you
something
guys
else,
are doing
Jared.
together.
with the oral sex? I don't know. Aaron seemed to enjoy it.
Well, I mean, to be fair, you're bottom bitch, so.
To your tiny ass? Anyway.
Jesus.
You know it's tiny. Anyway, okay,
Oh my god. You're a fucking foot shorter than me.
And
it's writing down.
That's
Edit
me.
here to here.
I mean, I can't
Spin
produce
you like
power.
a dreidel. Anyway, let's
I'm so glad that joke went
Yeah.
somewhere.
let's
So glad it went somewhere, and where I wanted it to go is there.
Of course you did, you little fucking poofter. So
Yeah, we have speculation about new potential content coming out, and can't say it's been confirmed, but it's pretty much been confirmed.
So I was talking to Aaron a few weeks ago, and he was telling me that he had these thoughts on what he'd seen and read, that potentially we're going to get new DLC, and this was right when the Christmas shit came out.
Mm-hmm.
And the new DLC was going to be freeing Hoxton from Payday 1, because the voice actor has swapped from British to American, and it pissed a lot of fans of the series off. And apparently, there's been talks that he could come back. And there's theories that the new DLC is going to be freeing him from prison. That was all I'd heard from you for quite a while.
And I'm sorry to break that off, but and on top of the fact that it could also involve the new female heister, the new female character.
Yep. So we're talking about her. If anyone's watched the Payday web series, and I think I touched this last week too, was she's supposed to be the cop in the web series that's kind of on to the Payday crew and finding them. But we haven't really heard too much about her in a while. However, the new DLC is dropping on Valentine's Day.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't hear about that.
Yeah, it's at least that's February 14th is Valentine's Day, right?
Yeah, it's February 14th.
Yeah. So a couple of funny things. I think it was GameSpot released a statement saying that. Oh crap! I guess it's a different game.
God damn it, Jared. Anyway.
Yeah, they were talking about the what's it called? Last of Us is coming out on Valentine's Day. That there's just there's speculation that the Payday stuff's coming out on Valentine's Day.
But yeah, just for the record, I fucking hate the web series. Just
Oh yeah, no,
it's
it's
so terrible. But anyway, yeah. In the recent kind of side little content that you can purchase on Steam, which is the Christmas soundtrack, the voice actor for the original British Hoxton was actually in it. They like you can one of them, I think track 1 or 2, it's David Goldfarb, being like an investigative reporter, goes in to interview Hoxton, and then they drop hints here and there about how he might be, the crew might come break him out, and of course the rest of it is just him singing stupid Christmas songs. But yeah, I really do believe that the next big DLC is gonna is gonna have the old Hoxton in there somewhere.
well, I mean,
And I also believe the new female heister as well. So
I don't know if they'll put them both under the same time, but what I do know is that Payday's notorious for their big weird secrets, which there's one going on right now that we're kind of trying to figure out. It looks like it's another Overdrill thing based on the hints they've dropped, but I just don't have the time to be the one to do it. I tried for a little while, but I remember how hard it was trying to figure out the original Payday secret, and I'm not going to be that guy again. But they do also like to drop hints towards their next DLC when they release the achievements for the next DLC. They, of course, change all of their names and descriptions when the DLC actually comes out. But currently the achievements are listed as: you put on the mask and lost your good name, you robbed the bank and lost your good name, you fought the law and lost your good name, you done the crime and lost your good name, you'll do the time to earn your scandalous repute. And this seems to me to be prison-based kind of little.
yeah, it's very obvious. It's almost like like blunt, just how obvious what kind of concept we're going to be seeing in the future. So I'm curious to see where this is going to go, and how long it's going to take for it to come out. So
I'm interested. I mean, I got a little bit off topic earlier. I realized that I was talking about Last of Us DLC because I'm looking at something that says Valentine's on the fucking Steam profile for the achievements, because that's the guy's name. So we don't actually know when this is coming out. I have a feeling I might actually be pretty close to correct. I want to say that it's going to be at the beginning of next month, partway through next month. They usually don't take too long after they give us the achievement list to actually drop us the DLC. So that should be interesting. It looks like it will be the prison break for Hoxton, but at the same time, Payday's never been so blunt before. They usually like to fuck around and place lots of secrets and hints and weird jokes. So for them to actually do it would be almost a little bit strange to me, but I'd like to see it. If they're going to be that upfront with us for once, that's fine. I'll gladly rob a bank, but it feels that breaking Hoxton out of jail wouldn't be lucrative, and a lot of the missions seem to be about cash. So unless we're stealing something from the prison as well as freaking him and being about our business, I can't say. I don't know. I
mean, I really don't have much to say because this is just based purely on speculation and like 1 or 2 like possible ends. But there's just I really can't say much else after that. So
yeah, I mean, it's all speculation and theories and Steam forums, and you guys can always go look it up yourselves.
But there's just I think there's just too much information to not point at that one instantaneous thing. So,
but there's nothing we can say until it happens. These are our thoughts. You're free to spread them around the internet to whoever the hell you want to.
I would say I give them 3 weeks for them to release any sort of information about the next DLC, because I think you're right. When they don't release DLCs too long, like after they've released the achievements for them.
No, so. I mean the Christmas ones came a few weeks, I guess, before the DLC dropped. Like it wasn't that long, because Brandon was reading me the achievements for that, which was
it was right after Go, I think.
Put a penny in old man's hat.
It was right after GoBank came out, so
yeah, if you got a penny, a hot penny will do. Well, GoBank was what dropped.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, never mind.
So,
See, the only thing that confuses me about those achievements is you lost your good name. The heisters don't have a good name. Everybody knows them.
What
But
does that even
the only
mean?
thing I could think is either you pose as a guard or there's maybe like a police mask. I don't know.
maybe you actually do get arrested because the thing is they're known as the Payday Gang. Nobody knows who they are. Nobody
Yeah,
knows it's Wolf, Hoxton, Dallas, and Chains, and nobody knows what their real names are. Like that's just what they call each other. No one's to say that that's their real name at all.
yeah,
So nobody knows who you are. But if you get arrested, they'll know who you are,
that's true.
and then you'll lose your good name. But it could also be the same thing. They might not be referring to you. They could be referring to Hoxton,
Yeah,
who's lost his good name because he got arrested. But there's a Hoxton still running around robbing things while he sits in jail.
Yeah, but that's not a good Hoxton, so he did lose his good.
Yeah, but I mean, say you get arrested for being a guy who runs under the alias Hoxton robbing banks, and you're now in jail, and the same gang with Hoxton is still robbing things.
Right.
I mean, they've obviously got you on something to hold you, but maybe I don't know. It's hard to say, but I guess we'll move from there because I mean, there's only so much we can say. It's speculation for Payday.
Yeah.
The next thing, I guess, we played a lot of Payday on Wednesday on the stream. We play a lot of Payday all the time on the stream. But Thursday was the release of the new Nether Patch.
Yes,
So,
bicycles.
yeah, I haven't got a chance to play with Aaron yet, but me and Brandon fucked around with it. They added the dirt bikes, and they put forth requesting stunt videos. If you'd like to send them to them, I saw a cool one where a guy jumped off a skyscraper, bailed out of his bike, and hang glided away. That was kind of interesting.
I will point out if you run into things with a bike, it shoots your camera, or has a chance, I guess, to shoot your camera straight up in the air. Just get off. It doesn't come back down. So watch for that. Try not to run into things, but it is quite a bit of fun.
Yep, and the other issue they've got is there's a chance when you get on the bikes that it's going to delete all your gear and just respawn you somewhere. The stuff in your global inventory is fine, but you may lose what you're holding. Me and Brandon didn't have this issue, and we both got on bikes.
In fact, when the bike died, I actually respawned with my stuff. I didn't actually notice, so I started sprinting and killed myself anyways. But you watch that you respawn with your stuff.
Yeah, at least for him that time. I don't know. It's really weird. It even says on the bike when you go to get on, get on at your own risk because they don't fucking know what's going on with it right now. It was just added. They're figuring it out, patching it all through. I hope they tweak the controls because that thing is a real pain in the ass to steer. But the bigger thing that I liked more than the bikes that they've added to Nether was the group system. So you can now play on the same server as a friend, invite them to a group, and you'll see them on the map.
Oh, that is
as
awesome.
Well as their names pop up easier above their heads.
Yeah, if you look at them, no matter the range, if you look at them like before, their name will pop up. I do wish there was a bit of a thing where if they were near a corner, because I've almost corner shot Jared a couple times.
There's a few times where I almost shot him too. He'd be standing across the street from me, and I leveled my scope on him, and just had the forethought to check my map. And I was about to blow his head off. But it's lots of fun because the group play, it adds a little bit of a mechanic to it. They've got an escort mission now where you take something from point A to point B, and everybody in your group gets credit, except the guy with the machine can't fight at all.
And he's marked on the map, and you can see that he's moving, so you can kind of like chase people. And we were hunting actually a group of 6, but we were too slow. That was my fault.
Yeah, we got stuck up on a roof trying to get the lead off on them, and they got ahead of us.
Well, they ended up fighting for so long. That's the problem.
We ended up fighting them after they came out of the base, but they fucking ran off like the bitches they are. And then I suffered the worst glitch in Nether fucking history. Aaron, you know,
distracted about 6 blocks.
Yeah, I was not present when that happened. So.
You know the map on Nether, right?
Yeah, for the most part, yes.
You know that little island area they've got going on right now above the bridges?
Yes.
Yeah, I was sitting on a roof there and pulling in everything in that island.
Yeah, all the way north to like the very north train yards. He was tracking everything, and you could just see all these Nether flashing at us. Oh. I mean, I'd hop to the next building, and I was just watching him fight.
I didn't have any bloodlust, no skulls for killing players, and I was just pulling in so many Nether that I went from... I'd already been decently high level, but I went from like level 16 to 25 or something like that.
Oh my.
Just murdering Nether.
he had to log out. Like he started tracking another wave, and I'm like, just log, and he managed it. But
it's like I killed, I think, 3 full groups that came up to me, and then it was just time to get the fuck out.
I think what was happening is every nether he was killing was adding a bloodlust charge, because it was when he shot when he got rushed the first time when he shot, I think it attracted all the ones further away that couldn't hear him from movement. I don't know why exactly.
It was a really bad glitch, but the group system's really nice because you can find your allies without have to constantly ask them, "Hey, where are you? Where are you?" And they've got to stop and pull up their map and go, "I'm." Well, it's like I'm on fucking this street, and I'm kind of going north-ish. And then you've got to kind of go, okay, I'm where you said you were. Where the fuck are you now? I'm 6 blocks away. So, well, fuck. Now it's just like, I know where you are. I'm on the way. So if they're in the middle of fighting somebody, they no longer have to pause and open their map. They can be just trying to defend themselves from players in Nether while you fight your way over to them to back them up, which we had to do a couple of times. But it's really nice having a group system. I don't know why. I heard a few players complaining about it, that they don't like it. It makes it easier to get hunted down, but it lets you play with your friends. And for me, that's so worth it, because in this game, you've got a lot more health than you do in, say, DayZ, but...
I'm sorry, continue.
Well, you can still murder a person really fucking quickly. So it's not like one guy can't take out 4 if you know they're coming.
So I guess it really depends on the context, because we can't compare a game like Nether to a game like DayZ. Yes, the setting is the same, but I think their aim they have 2 completely different goals. Like Nether, like with the direction they're going right now, they're focusing on, big groups of people just trying to play together, just.
They're trying to make gameplay more dynamic, whereas DayZ is PvP.
DayZ is
your
more.
Friends, and that's it.
It's based off a simulator, right? It's based off a simulator, and I'm one of the few people that actually enjoys the mechanics of DayZ more than I do. I'm not saying that Nether's bad. I really like Nether. I had a lot of fun the few times that I played, but I love the mechanics of DayZ, and I love, just all you have the very bare essentials. Just the bare tools needed to survive, and you have to be able to rely on your wit to figure anything out. Like, there was no names popped up when it came to players. Like me and my friends, when we did it a lot, we actually had a map. It got to the point where we actually understood landmarks. We didn't even have to pull up a map of where we were. Yep. But we knew exactly. Just give them a description of what's going on, what we're looking at. We go from there, and then we had call signs. So whenever we see each other from a distance, we have call signs, and then that will determine if that's a friend or foe. And I liked it. I liked it. It's minimalistic, but at the same time, it relies more on interpersonal communication and interaction, and just being able to develop your own method of
deciphering your surroundings and things
exactly.
Like that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I like Nether because it's more compact. There's not as much running aimlessly for a long time, but it's probably going to do no good to their advertisement to say this, but Nether really is Warzy. Infestation stories, if you must.
It's the fixed Warzy, yeah.
It's Warzy without the lies.
It's got a lot of the same features. It's got the global inventory. It's got the grouping system now. It's got that kind of closer feel to it. But at the same time, yes, we have seen hackers. Brandon got his dick ripped off by a speed hacker, and then I made the mistake of shooting at someone I thought was a normal human being who then teleported and ripped my face off. But I've only really had to deal with the one hacker.
I've been hacked 3 times, and I play the game like you wouldn't believe. Like, I played the game for, 12 days straight.
Yeah, but I mean, there were 2 hackers in that particular lobby, but it's not bad. They're not everywhere, and I'm really, really enjoying Nether. And we only have what was an estimated maybe 10% of the map unlocked right now. So it's very much a work in progress. They've added bikes. I feel like with the addition of bikes, maybe they'll add other vehicular systems come the rest of the map.
I think they're going to add a train system where you can navigate like between like 4 major areas in the map or something. Like I think they'll have something.
Yeah, because the map is small now, but it's still pretty big. Entirely because it's hard to get around. If you run, you will attract Nether.
If you walk, you're sitting duck for players.
Yeah.
So
I mean, it's a little bit back and forth. And if you attract Nether, I mean, if you grab one and can kind of pull them off to the side and get them real quick, maybe nobody will notice you. But if you grab a couple, then you're even a bigger sitting duck for players because they're watching like 6 Nether run down an alleyway and they're like, all right, there's an idiot down there. Let's murder him and take a shit.
Not to mention if there's 6, you're probably going to have to shoot. Then anybody in earshot comes at you.
Yeah, so. And potentially more Nether. But I mean, I'm really enjoying the game. I like the direction they're going. I like the hang gliders, the bikes. Not so much right now, but they're very, very much an alpha edition because they're not done. They even say on them, caution. I don't know what the fuck's gonna happen when you try to get on here.
And I like that they take precautions like that because people can't get mad. It says use with caution in big capital letters for get on. Like, you can't make the mistake.
It's use at your own risk. And it's like, okay.
I saw a post on the forums. You guys should have fixed it before you put it in. Well, it's an alpha. It's made to, or it's a beta rather. It's made to fix problems like this. It's made to introduce features, things like that.
Well, the thing, and we talked about this before, that drives me nuts, is alphas and betas nowadays, they're everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, here is your alpha and your beta, and here's your beta access. And too many people are treating these betas like they're
demos.
Yeah, they're treating them like they're demos, and they're not. They're betas. You're here to assist the developer. This isn't a goddamn early access party for you. This is an assistance to their production. If you don't like it, fucking play something else and wait for the game to come out.
It's to cut 5,000 hours of QA on their side. Is what it is.
And it drives me nuts when they're like, okay, we're doing a reset. Like, your global inventory is getting reset, or Starbound is getting reset. And people are like, how fucking dare you? This isn't a thing. You can't just take my stuff. It's fucking beta, you jackass.
Yeah.
Like, they can do whatever the hell they want. You
Guess
don't
what? If they
have
feel like
the
they gave
game
you too much ammo, if they feel like they gave you anything, like they reset all the ammo in my global because people were duping it. I don't care. If people were duping it, they didn't earn it. Sure, I had 80 shots. People had like 900.
Yeah.
Fuck that.
And I mean, that's liable to happen in a beta. I accidentally duplicated that armband that they start you with, and I had 2 of them, and I threw them out because I realized I just don't care about the starting shit. I've got a bunch of coins. I mean, I bought the big edition of the game because I thought it was going to be good. I'm happy to know that it is, and now I've got these coins for future editions. But it's just, I mean, there's always going to be weird glitches and errors and fucked up stuff. You're just going to have to learn to deal with it. It's these things that when the game actually comes out, you can look back at the players that are just getting in the game and they're like, oh man, I remember when this building used to do this, or you could get away with this, or all the fun memories you've got of when the game was fucked up that they've fixed. It's not there for you, it's there for the devs. And too many people are starting to think that this is entirely about them, and fuck everybody else.
Yeah. Like one hitting with CRUs will probably be removed. If you headshot somebody, I think that's a fair one to hit, kill. You should kill them in one hit. But you should be able to kill somebody that's sprinting and dodging just by clipping them with a CRU. That's ridiculous.
Especially, like, you've got a fresh fucking spawn, and you're walking through the streets, and it's a city. It's a dense urban environment. They're up on a rooftop somewhere screwing around. They cock one shot off, and you're dead.
Yeah.
It's like, what if you've been playing for a few hours, and you've just, like, gathered all this loot, and you're dead?
Yeah.
I mean, yes, normally your first spawn is close-ish, but you can no longer spawn in with other guns from your global. So you're kind of fucked to get back to your body because there's still either A, going to be watching it, or B, standing on top of it.
Which I have found and killed them for it.
Oh yeah, well I did that to the opposite of that the last time we played. You died, I had sniped the guy because I was up on a roof that killed you. He respawned, ran back to his loot, he was picking it up, and I'm standing right there and just shot him again.
Yeah, I do remember that one. The Phoenix guy.
Yeah, I mean, I have all of his shit now. I got a couple of katanas, big backpack, bunch of toys, fun stuff. But, I mean, it's a game that I am thoroughly enjoying, and I'm liking a lot, and a few of my viewers have come to me and told me that they think that I've become boring while playing it because I'm actually just playing the game. I'm not being entertaining like I am with a lot of other games, which, that's my bad, guys. I will try and work on that and become entertaining again. But being entertaining means that I'm probably going to die a lot more, and then if I die a lot more, I'm going to have less gear, and I'm going to be less liable to play it. So it's a little bit of a catch-22. Still, I love the direction they're going. I love how this game is going. When it finally finishes and releases, it should be fucking amazing.
Okay, on the note of survival horrors, have you seen Dying Light?
Yes.
Looks badass. Free running in a survival game is gonna be sick. Like,
It's supposed to have multiplayer.
It doesn't yet.
Isn't that game made by Techland?
Yes.
Okay, so yeah, I kind of, when I first looked at it, I saw it and I thought that it was just a copy of, was it Dead Island? But it's made by the same people.
It looked that way.
But
to me
the way
well.
then I kind of saw more footage of it, and then I later reinterpreted that statement as Dead Island was the first iteration and kind of a proof of concept of the idea of a free roaming open world zombie apocalypse. So now I see Deadlight as kind of their prodigy in the end.
Dying Light.
So Dying Light
There's two different games, Deadlight and Dying.
Dying Light is supposed to have 4-player online co-op.
Okay. So
it will have PvP. They've guaranteed that. They have if you pre-order, you get their 4 versus 4 PvP. You can play as a zombie or a player, I think.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm looking at the post right now. It's a 4-player online cooperative game. That's the intention of the developers. They never want you to travel alone.
Yeah, I'm watching it right now.
So that's actually something I'm waiting to see how that turns out.
And what I like about it is night is like apparently really, really dangerous. Like you have to be quick, scavenge in the day, get everything to survive the night, and it's gonna be just that cycle. You have to be able to
just a little bit of gameplay that I've seen on Dying Light is just amazing.
It looks really good though.
Like I just watched that basic trailer where he's like running around and he's looking for drops and he finds the little girl.
The pre-alpha beta or pre-alpha footage.
Yeah, and I mean just the little bit they did, and it was very obvious what they did is they just entered like a little point A to point B kind of thing just to get some footage out there for us. So just looking at it, it's scripted as shit.
Yeah.
But it doesn't matter because even in being scripted, it was just showing off certain things. And the fact that you can have that random little, do you want to save the little girl or do you want to continue on with your mission and potentially get better loot? It's morality versus greed. And then it's zombies and free running and dodging and pushing and beating them to death and adding like elemental stats to certain weapons, and all of a sudden nighttime shows up and he goes from being like, oh my god, to now he's like crouching and trying to sneak around, and then he gets spotted and it's just all of a sudden fucking intense running. And all I can imagine is if this is going 4-player co-op, say you're playing with your buddies, you end up nighttime, you're like, shit, like we got caught out, we got to get back, and you're all kind of sneaking around in like maybe 2 different areas. So 2 of you are with one place, 2 of you are in another one, and somebody gets seen, and all of a sudden it's like they're running and their partner's running, and then the other group's like, shit, like I gotta try and help them, and then they're running to try and meet up with them, and you've just got zombies fucking everywhere freaking the fuck out, and all like the special ones, and it all just looks really, really good. But I said the same thing about Dead Island.
Yeah, and that's what I'm like. That's why I haven't pre-ordered it. I'm so excited for this game, but I don't want to buy it until I hear player opinion. Now, I don't listen to every player opinion because people are fucking assholes with games.
Oh yeah.
But with the same thing with anything. But I'd like to hear what other people say about it. Like, is it really as it looks in the videos?
I want to believe that Dead Island was more or less a proof of concept in that type of genre of survival horror. And then, like I said before, Dying Light is their final product out of working all the kinks out from Dead Island.
Dead Island took, I want to say, like 6 years to finish.
It was done by a small studio at the time. Now they're much bigger, but...
No, I don't think it was started by them.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, they took it from a different studio.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. Like, it was done with a tiny one.
Yeah, like they went from one studio to another, and it just kept dying and trying to get resuscitated and moving around. I remember seeing something in like 2005 about it or something like that. And I'm like, oh, this looks really cool. And then it just, there was nothing.
6 years later, hey.
And finally it comes out and it's like, holy shit. Holy shit. And then we were playing it, and I fucking loved it. When I first played it, I loved everything about it, except that my game was the only one that was actively working out of all my friends. Like, everyone had issues. There was a lot of bugs.
I had a lot of issues myself.
By the time we got it fixed and could actually join each other's games and play, I'd already kind of done a bit, and I was enjoying it, and then we played for a little bit, and it was kind of fun, but it turned into a lot of repetitive, and there really wasn't a lot of variety in weapons and toys, and one of the fucking chicks, the one with the guns, was
Prima?
Was it her?
Yeah. Yeah,
Well, I got
she's
tired.
the firearms weapon.
She was pretty much fucking useless.
Yeah.
Like, all of her skill tree was like support bonuses. So if you were playing as her because you thought guns were cool, suck a dick.
That's what I did. It's basically what I did. Because I bought the Game of the Year edition, which came with all the DLC, and I got Prima, which was my first character through, and it was just a bunch of support stuff. I'm like, well, this sucks.
Yeah, the chick with the swords, busted as fuck.
Well, I played the throwing guy, and I got really sick of glitches where my weapons would like be there and I couldn't pick them up, or they despawn, or
My first character was the throwing guy, and I enjoyed it. And I came back as the sword chick, and she's just busted as fuck.
Yeah.
I think the best character I've owned was the heavy blunt weapons.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Rapper Good.
Yeah, that's pretty much where I went with.
Now, did you guys get to play any of the DLC?
No, I didn't bother getting it, nor did I get Dead Tide.
They added the character, that guy from the radio tower or whatever.
Yeah.
They added him as his playable story, so you got to see his story on it.
Did I ever tell you guys how I beat Dead Island, like how the last boss was?
No.
So here's my experience with the final boss in Dead Island. Like, you know the little thing where if you crit or you knock a zombie on its ass, you can stomp its head insta kill it.
Yep.
So I had a bat. It was a bat with a lightning mod.
Yeah.
And I remember spending 20 minutes, and this is going to be spoilers, but I mean this game's like 3 years old or something like that.
Yeah, well that's fine. It's old enough that I don't care.
Yeah. So I'm going through the prison. I spent much more time getting to the final boss. It was so fucking hard. It was just like I was dodging like super zombies and like people shooting me and all that. When I got up to the final boss and it became this super big thing, I pulled out my electrical bat, smacked him once. I got an insta crit, knocked him on his ass, and then I stomped his head, and that was it. The fight literally lasted 2 seconds. I went up to him, beat him, he fell, stomped his head, that was it.
Did you ever see the Alan Wake final boss?
Oh my god.
You run up there and you take a flare, you throw it into this big huge tornado. It's supposed to be like this, like darkness is your enemy, right? So this darkness is whipping around like couches and houses and vehicles. You throw a flare. There's a big box of flares beside you. You grab another flare, you throw a flare, grab another flare, throw a flare, and it dies.
No.
Is that how you're supposed to be?
And nothing hits you. Like while you're running up to it, you have to dodge like a trailer that comes flying at you, a couch, and then like a house roof, and then you jump to the platform and nothing flies at you again.
Is that how you're supposed to beat them?
Yep, that's how you're supposed to beat them. That is the boss.
Like whenever I've never played Alan Wake. I want to go back and actually play it. I only watched playthroughs of it, and the storyline never made much sense to me. But I was younger.
The storyline.
I was younger. I didn't get the storyline at first, but now I want to kind of go back and do it myself and see if I understand it a lot more.
You know what? I played that one before I played Amnesia and like all the other kind of horror ones. That one actually had me shaking, and I don't usually do that. And it was weird because it wasn't that scary, but like it had me so because everything's jump scares.
Yeah.
And you like that's the only thing that ever scares me is jump scares. Like you can't scare me with anything else, but you never knew it was coming. You knew there was one coming up. Like I walked into town and all the lights turned out and this thing fell in front of you and I almost pissed myself on that one. Like,
yeah.
And nothing scares me. I love getting scared. So that was fun for me.
You guys want to know what the most depressing boss of all time in any video game was?
What?
Have any of you ever played Dishonored?
Yes.
No.
What version of Dishonored did you go through?
Whichever one is on Steam right now.
No, I mean, like, did you kill everybody or did you kill absolutely nobody?
Nobody.
Okay, so you've beaten the game killing absolutely nobody.
Yes.
Do you know what happens if you kill people?
No.
You get this really epic fight with the last boss, the guy who kind of fucks you over, on top of his tower. He's holding, like, the princess off a ledge, and you've got to, like, quickly kill him and save her, and it's this big epic thing. If you kill nobody, You don't even have to fight the last boss. You walk into the room to find out that he's kind of going crazy and he's pacing back and forth. I literally just walked past him, walked over to the room that she was in, clicked on the door, opened the door, and roll credits.
What?
Yeah, that's what I got.
Yeah, but if you fight and he knows you're there, you end up in this big epic thing on the roof.
Huh.
But
Wow.
I killed nobody in the entire game. So he's muttering to himself, and you just grab the key off the table, pop the door, and game's over. Done.
Are you supposed to do it like in a stealth manner, or do you just literally walk in?
You can play the game in quite a few different ways.
Well, no. I mean, like at the
I-
final boss, did you stealth? Like,
For
did you like
me-
sneak in, or did you just
Yeah.
walk in, grab the shit?
For me,
got it?
you come in on the floor above him, and I think you're supposed to kind of go down the stairs and go into the room he's in. But he turned away from me, so I just jumped to the railing and landed right behind him, which is right next to the table the key's on. So I just grabbed the key, backpedaled a little bit, and popped the door.
Wow.
See, I snuck through the room, but I had the same result.
Yeah, you open the door, roll credits.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
And then I went and looked it up. I was like, what's the bad ending? It's like you've killed everybody, and you have this big epic like fight on the roof, and like kill him and save her in the same motion from falling, and it's really cool looking. And I'm like, man,
That makes me mad.
I feel underwhelmed as shit.
Yeah.
I think the only reason why I didn't pick up Dishonored is because I'm not really into the whole steampunk kind of thing, and the story itself, I looked it up, and the story itself just did not hold me.
Dishonored was all right. It wasn't as fun going stealthy as I kind of looked at some of the murder versions of the game, and you get a lot of really cool abilities to kill people.
Mm.
And then you can go through the specific actual ways to kill the targets, and you get some really cool shit. Doing it in stealth, getting the real ending,
Well, the story itself is a good idea.
yeah,
Like, I thought the story itself could have been a lot better with the gameplay. You know what I mean?
yeah. Well, especially like I said, if you're doing it stealth, because you lose access to. I need to fucking oil this chair. You lose access to like half of your abilities or more. They're not
Yeah.
usable because the story is the more people you kill, the worse things get. So at the end of the game, if you've killed a bunch of people, the citizens are unhappy. A lot of them are dead. There's plague and disease and famine everywhere. Whereas if you kill nobody, everyone's
Same
good.
as when you started.
Yeah,
Like nothing ever changes. It was kind of underwhelming.
but I
in a
mean,
way.
I guess this is a good chance to segue into. We don't know much about it, but I had a request to give kind of our 2 cents, if anyone has any, about the new Thief game coming out.
Thief.
It looks awesome.
I've only played one Thief game, and that was the first Thief game.
That's the one I played as well.
Whereas there's been Thief 2, and this is going to be 3.
Is it 4 or 3?
Oh, yeah.
I think it's
actually,
4.
Sorry.
I think it's 4.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's 4. No, you're right. But Thief 4 is coming out, and I love stealth games. I mean, fuck off, chair. My chat likes to make fun of me because my version of stealth is ghetto stealth. If there's nothing left alive, nobody can
everybody.
ever possibly catch me.
Yeah.
I mean, I do it all without being seen, but I don't have to worry about coming back out. But that's from years of hating stealth games, because when I was younger, the stealth game to play, besides Thief, which I tried and wasn't very good at, was Splinter Cell. And a lot of the early Splinter Cells had it that if you killed anybody, you were instantly caught. And so it was a lot of sitting around, waiting to memorize guard patterns, to slip past them, to get caught later and ported back to your last checkpoint and do all the goddamn fucking tations again.
Yeah.
And I hated that. And now that stealth games let you kill people, I abuse the shit out of it because now I can play stealth games and now I really enjoy them. And Thief is looking really, really good. Like, I've noticed they've got something I haven't seen in any other stealth games before. Water arrows. So it's like an arrow with a really wet cloth on it with a little bit of water inside. And you can launch them at torches and create more darkness.
Huh.
And
Yeah.
through the shadows, and just there was that one trailer that played at E3, and it was just a little bit of fucking around where they were kind of talking about the game, and he's wandering around a courtyard, and you get a sense that your character doesn't know how to fight. Like, he can, but he's not a fighter. It shows at one point where he does a stealth kill from above, and he drops on a guy, and he kind of hits him, and they both hit the ground and look kind of out of it, and he like stands up and just manages to get the shot in before the other guy does and knocks the guard out. It's not like he landed on him immediately, murdered him Assassin's Creed style, and chucked him through a fucking bush into a barrel and conveniently rolled him down to the river so no one could ever find the corpse again. He just like almost fucked it up in a completely yours kind of kill. But I guess you're attacking a man who's a trained guard, and you are literally just a thief.
And what I like about this one is they're trying to make it more choice driven. Like you can then follow more paths than you could in the other games.
Yeah, it's not linear. It's open. There's lots of options. Like,
and the environment abuse. Holy crap! There's so many different paths through every area. Apparently, like I've seen some gameplay trailers, and like it looks stunning. Everybody's going to be able to find a different way to do everything, and
which is going to be great for, say, streamers, because you can literally go watch a thief stream and then go watch somebody else's thief stream, and there's a good chance you're not going to see the same journey.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean. Like, and for replayability, like if you want to do it again and see how fast you can do it or whatever, you can do it a different way. It's not that you have to trace your steps.
Yeah.
That and with the choices, like I think you can take different areas. Like, anyways, I don't know how much of a choice you actually have, but I know there is some level of it.
Well, it's really interesting too, because it's got a Dishonored feel to it. You're in I mean, it's a fantasy setting, but really it is just a...
But it's steampunk, so that's
yeah.
why.
Yeah.
But you've got that, and it's in the midst of a rebellion. So you can either help with the rebellion, kind of fight against the rebellion, or it showed a little bit of... it was the theatrical trailer. But it shows him going to rob somebody, and they're breaking into this place to steal a gem, I think is what it was. And it shows him kind of breaking in, sneaking past the guards, slipping around, like knocks one guy out. He gets what he's looking for. But the rebellion started, and on the way out, the bridge to the rest of the city is on fire. And, like, there's fire everywhere and a bunch of dead guards and fighting, and it shows him, like, run by, and he gets to the bridge, and it's running through that almost post-apocalyptic area where the whole thing's on fire and falling apart, and he does one of those stylized leaps where it's like now or never, and the whole thing falls apart behind him, but he got what he wanted. And it just looks like it's going to be action-packed while still being a stealth game, which I love, because, like I said, you get the feeling that he doesn't know how to fight. So it's Thief. It doesn't look like it's going to be one of those games where you can just run into a courtyard, murder everybody, and fuck off. Like, that's not going to be an option.
Well, and the game's artificial intelligence is amazing, too, because they notice other guards missing. They notice, like, things out of place. Like, if you put a torch out, they have a chance of noticing it, things like that.
Yeah.
And they'll know you're there, and they'll try and hunt you down. They know hiding spots on every map, and like they've introduced the level to them almost, and I think that's really cool, personally.
Which makes Payday look bad too, because how many times have we done framing frame, and you'll steal all the paintings in the fucking museum, and they're walking around going, I was pretty sure we were full, but I'm a little drunk. It's nobody notices this shit. Or like the security door is suddenly open, one of their friends is fucking laying unconscious within plain view, and they're just looking at the painting that's now missing, going, as far as my patrol has to go, guess I'll walk back the other way.
My pay grade doesn't involve this.
Yeah, I saw it. I don't care. But it looks really, really good. It's a beautiful looking game, both graphically and design. It's going to be great.
Yeah, I'm watching the trailer right now. It's actually kind of piquing my interest because this is like the first Thief game since the first Thief game that I've actually been interested in. So
yeah, I mean, Thief has been hailed throughout stealth game history as being almost the granddaddy of stealth. Like, it was the big game that anybody who's really into stealth now played a lot of. And I mean, I didn't, because it was another one of those games where you were not allowed to just murder the shit out of people. You were a thief, not an assassin.
Well, and yeah, they were going to add a skill system where you can level up your character to be better at fighting and all this, and people just hated the idea. Yeah. And I liked that the studio took that into consideration, just scrapped it. No, they were done. So, well, because the idea is that you are a thief, you are experienced, you know what you're doing. You just can't fight, and you shouldn't learn to. Like,
why? Like, why
thief,
would you?
You're not an assassin, yeah.
If you're good at stealing, do what you're good at. You should never get caught if you're as good as the story says you are.
Yeah, no, exactly. So I quite like that.
Well, but it's the merging of storyline and gameplay. And I love that, because you don't see that enough. You'll play a game and it'll be like, all right, the story says you're an orphan kid who's, been living on the streets his whole life, and you'll just beat the shit out of 6 knights in the first sequence, and it's like, why the fuck can he do that? What? He should be getting his ass beat by the squire tending to the horse over there. That shit drives me nuts. You'll watch all this stuff where just the story does not match the gameplay. And that's especially bad in Square Enix games.
Yeah.
Is a lot of times you play as like a 16-year-old kid who's fucking gangly and awkward, and you're just beating the shit out of 30-foot robots. And it's like, what the fuck is going? There's no way in hell they're doing this. And now they're the heroes, and everybody knows it. They're taking on the evil, and they're kids with sticks. What?
Fable got me.
Yeah.
Like, I understand you've trained all your life. Okay, that's cool. But you shouldn't be able to beat the hell out of, like, like, huge golems rise out. Really? You can fight that?
Pop it up out of the wall. You're still wearing rags, and you're just gonna beat the shit out of them.
Yeah.
Yep.
But I mean, that's a syndrome
you're
of
the
all
hero.
games.
That said, I love Fable. Fable was a blast for me. I'm actually really upset. I know I've mentioned it on your stream before, but Armada the Dam never got released because it was not Lord of the Rings, Pirates of the Caribbean version of Fable, and it
I'd have
looked
played
really
the ever-loving fuck out of that.
cool.
There
Oh, I
was
know.
a game. There was a game. You didn't know that?
There was a game.
No,
There was a game.
it wasn't released. It was Propaganda Studios in Vancouver, and the funding got shut because the suits didn't think it was going to make enough money.
There was a Pirates of the Caribbean game, though. I do own that.
Oh, there is,
Oh,
but
no, there's a
like
couple. Yeah,
free roam multiplayer sort of thing, like Fable, but it was Pirates of the Caribbean.
And I mean, I've said it before when Assassin's Creed came out. It's the reason I agreed to do my first 24-hour stream. I love pirates. I mean, the ad campaign for Assassin's Creed was for a little period in history. There were human beings that were truly free, and I believe that. I mean, yeah, okay, what they were doing, wrong, bad, shouldn't. I mean, they tried to spin it in a light way in Assassin's Creed, but it was essentially a bunch of people just taking what the fuck they wanted and doing what the fuck they wanted. And obviously, you can't have that and still hold society together, but I love those kinds of games. I love being in control of something and building it up and being able to use it to do all sorts of interesting things. And in my case, it's a crew and a ship. And what I would really like to see is the ability to get a ship, upgrade yourself, upgrade your crew, so you can get your crew to be different things and specialize in things and get them trained, and they can die, you know, almost like Assassin's Creed Brotherhood did with the assassins you could send out.
Yeah.
And then you could build up your ship, and I just want to pillage. I want to be able to roll up to a town, even if it's instanced and the town is just mildly randomized, roll up to a town, get out, burn the town. And just start setting fire to things and killing people and taking their money and killing the guards, and fucking we'll rush the manor on the hill and take all their shit, and the city's been sacked and here's all the stuff you got, and get back in your boat and fuck off, and now people are looking for you because you just destroyed a fucking city. I would play the shit out of that.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah, I know, right? Like, I would play the shit out of that, but that's not gonna be a thing, you know? That's not just gonna...
I wouldn't say that. You know what? Indie studios can go out and try things like that because they don't put a lot of money into it. Problem is, it's not going to have AAA quality. But no, like Capcom, EA, Ubisoft, everything. Nobody's going to put millions of dollars forward and do one of these out there games.
Also, on top of the fact that their reputation could be on the line, considering that they are indie, even with big developers, if they develop a shitty game, their name is still big enough that they could just produce another game, advertise it.
Well, I mean,
then, yeah.
We look at Watch Dogs, right?
A lot.
If they were to do... Like, I mean, that in its own is what we're talking about. That is a step forward that's new and interesting. It's the whole hacking element and a bunch of new gameplay theories to the old GTA-style game.
I was going to say, but it's so much like GTA and...
I mean, it's the same style, but the
Yeah.
gameplay is
Different.
built and stylized to something else.
Yeah.
That all I want out of the pirate game that I was just mentioning, if it was a real thing, it would basically just be Assassin's Creed or GTA, but with these stylized elements. It's not even that groundbreakingly different. It's just really cool.
But it kind of is, because, I mean, Watch Dogs, you're just putting, like, an urban technology spin on it, whereas you're changing the entire setting of...
But not if you base it off Assassin's Creed. Like, if
but
you
then
go-
you're marketing it to Assassin's Creed people.
Well, you don't have to.
You're not marketing it to the size of a GTA crowd. That's what the suits do, right? They shut you down.
You'd have to market it to an Assassin's Creed
crowd
because of Black Flag. If Black Flag hadn't come out, this would be a huge risk.
Yeah.
Because Black Flag has come out, it would basically almost be a spin-off to you're trying to sell back to that crowd.
Yeah, I could agree with that. The problem is now it's going to be like 2 years before something like that could come out.
Well, do you think
that
there will be games like that come out again?
You know, it's almost interesting. Because of the success of Black Flag, it's possible. I don't think so, but it's possible.
Put it this way, I put $45 for it on the game. I don't do that anymore. I have way too many games to bother putting $60 down. And I bought actually one for my boss's son, too. So I put $105 into that studio, and I generally do not buy like any game past like $30.
Which studio?
Yeah. Ubisoft?
Sorry, for Black Flag.
Oh, okay.
Okay. I wasn't sure.
Yeah,
I wasn't even sure if you'd played Black Flag, so.
I haven't. I haven't played through it.
Okay.
That's why I've kind of been avoiding your streams for that. That's why I couldn't really talk earlier. Because I want to play it, and I don't really want to ruin it for myself.
It's a lot of fun. I mean, I had the same thing with Medic. We talked about this last week. I did my 24-hour stream, and I played it for the following weekend a little bit. I got pretty much every unlockable. It's a shit ton of fun. I mean, I did the 24-hour stream, and at like 20 hours, I realized I wasn't on the storyline yet. I should probably go finish that before my stream's over. I had just been fucking around in the middle of the fucking Pacific, destroying things.
That's awesome.
But
see, and I couldn't watch that stream. I was so upset. But yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, like it was lots and lots of fun, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. But Medic was just gone. He every time he'd pop in, he'd be like, "Creed, bye," and I'm like, "Dude, I'm not even doing the story. The story's done. We're just fucking around in the ocean hunting legendaries. You can watch."
That's awesome.
But it was lots and lots of fun, and I'm gonna do something.
Even when I came in, when you was doing the stuff after the story, you said spoiler, Adewale was gone. I'm like, whoa.
Well, people were asking that because if you look at the boat, you notice that he's not there.
Yeah, you have redhead chick.
Yeah, she's standing in his spot, and everyone's like, well, what the fuck? And everyone is freaking out because they're like, is he dead? Is he dead? Is he dead? And I'm like, spoilers, guys. You know, just hang on here. He's not dead. I won't tell you what happened, but no, he's not dead. He's just not here. And everyone's like, well, what does that mean? I'm like, I'm not saying anything else because there are people that haven't played the game. You'll figure it out. It's a little bit of a weird thing, actually.
Yeah.
It was very awkward in the storyline, but yeah, he's just doing his own.
I also didn't like that. That's probably one, if I had one complaint, that's that bit of the storyline I had. I just didn't like how they handled it.
Well, that and 90% of the game is, as we talked about, just follow missions.
Yeah.
But
I revert back to Assassin's Creed 1.
Yeah, but like I said, I would have preferred a little bit of back and forth and character building between Adewale and Kenway and just leave him in for the entire game.
Yeah.
But like I said, he was only there as something to listen to when traveling between point A and point B during a mission.
Yeah.
That's all he was there for. And then they were just like, all right, well, we haven't really used him at all, so we're just going to swap him around. And it was a little sad, but I mean, I guess it gave them a segue into the DLC, but then the story in the DLC was just... He didn't even seem to have much character interaction in the story.
No.
Or in the DLC, sorry. He was just there again. I don't know. I still loved it.
It's a fantastic game. Just
yeah, I guess
nitpicking now.
We've got like 14 minutes left, so I guess we should probably. There's lots of things I didn't get to on this list, but that's cool. I'm glad. I didn't really want to burn through the list at all. I'd like to point out that Nintendo is doing really, really badly, though.
Yeah.
Well, like I said earlier to you guys, they made 1/3 of their projected sales in the Wii U.
Oh my god.
That's terrible.
Yeah,
that's terrible.
That's fucking atrocious.
And apparently this is an ongoing streak annually.
Yeah,
so.
I got it right fucking here. Yeah, so... Nintendo's come to its senses, admitting that their expectations for the Wii U sales were completely unrealistic, has dropped predictions from 9 million units to 2.8. It's clearly a huge drop as it comes out. as it comes with profit warnings to match. Nintendo now expects to make a loss of $336 million.
Stockholders are going to sell by tomorrow.
Nintendo is at its third consecutive annual loss.
That is.
That's gonna toast the company, to be honest with you. If they don't pull up this year, and that's if they survive this year.
No,
I want to say that
there's. Go for it.
I want to say, as a hardware manufacturer, this will probably get them out of the market. I think in terms of software, I don't think they're going to end anytime soon.
Well, there's another link here which shows that Nintendo is probably going to die.
Which is so sad because it was such a staple.
It's our childhoods, guys, but these games aren't going to go away. If Nintendo dies, someone will continue to make them.
Yeah.
Like I said, I just want to believe that they'll die in the hardware market, but in terms of software, they're not going to go away.
Well, if you look at it, the other thing that tells me Nintendo's dead, Nintendo is thinking about a new business structure in the smartphone and tablet gaming market.
No, fuck that.
Boy.
Yeah.
They're better off selling all of their assets, all their digital assets, everything, and cutting their losses, to be honest with you.
No, their CEO does not want to step down.
Yeah.
And they're hemorrhaging cash and thinking about going into mobile gaming and the smartphones.
Like developing smartphones or developing software?
Developing games on smartphones.
Okay.
But they've said Nintendo has refused to release its tentpole franchises like Mario or Zelda on smartphones. So they're going to go into these, but they're still not going to put out any Mario or Legend of Zelda games.
Why not? Like, okay, if you want to make money, that's what you have to do.
As long as they develop an Android Star Fox game, I am happy. So.
Well, because they think it will negatively impact DS sales.
Okay, yeah, no, I could see that.
And I mean, it does make sense, but when they're hemorrhaging so much, going into the mobile market, it's not going to save them. No. It'll probably hurt them because you're going to have to break in. There's a lot of upfront costs.
It's just delaying the inevitable.
Yeah, and they're already hemorrhaging money. It's really sad, but Nintendo is dying, and I'm going to take advantage of this and buy a Wii U when it gets cheap so that I can play the console version of Smash Bros.
Yeah, that's a smart idea to do. It's sad to do, but
I mean, I work at a place where I sell cell phones, so we've been talking about this for BlackBerry for years. They're going to die. They are dying, and it's likely that Android is going to pick them up.
That's going to be interesting.
Because they already have the ability to switch to the Android marketplace.
Unless Jala decides to pick him up.
I mean, they could, but because BlackBerry's already producing or giving access to the Android market, it seems like they're already setting up the ability...
A sale to Android.
Yeah, to do a quick, easy swap over to Android. But I mean, it's just sad to see these kind of things. I do want to touch on something else before we end. We've only got 10 minutes left. I want to try and put in a little bit of a segment in these podcasts where we talk a little bit about Twitch news, because I don't know where people get their information on Twitch, but it seems that a lot of people don't know what's going on with them all the time. And even trying to do a little bit of research myself, I only came up with a bit. They've released their numbers, I guess. And they did that 2 days ago. So some data released by Twitch, just as an example. They came out in 2011 as a kind of spin-off from Justin P. Pretty much everybody knows that.
Yeah.
And of course now the system's embedded in PS4. What I didn't know is I guess the Xbox One version of Twitch streams isn't out yet.
No, that's going to be out in March, I think they said.
Yeah, they've still got to patch it in, which is weird to me, but... It turns out that on Thursday, Twitch announced that by the end of 2013, they had over 45 million monthly unique viewers.
Really?
Watching an average of 106 minutes a day.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So that's an increase of 25 million monthly viewers since 2012.
And I know we're basically sounding like a dying record, but you would think with that much traffic, they would try to fix
their servers.
Yeah.
No, especially with this fucking horrible delay shit they throw up. And all I see is complaints about it, and no... People have talked about them fixing it, but I've never actually seen anything from them that they care.
And the ability to expand on the mobile market, just being able to let me view whoever the fuck I want instead of just whoever is the top streamers for a particular game.
They've changed it, right? It used to be that only sponsors had mobile, but some lucky people could kind of get through. Now it's anyone who has had in their current stream 30 or more viewers has access to the mobile market.
Okay.
Yeah, because I used to watch you on mobile.
Yeah, same here. And then I couldn't, and it's kind of pissing me off.
Yeah, well, they've changed it. If I get up to 30 viewers, my channel will freak the fuck out. It will show that I have nobody watching for a second, and then it'll slowly rebuild itself.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, I will have access to a quality changer and mobile viewers.
Which I guess they're trying to do that so that they can bring up some of the smaller viewers, some of the smaller channels, get them more viewers, maybe.
Well, I was looking at it. They keep changing the requirements for partnership. I was looking at it today because you have to apply for partnership.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's any negative to getting shot down. I'm thinking about applying when Watch Dogs comes out because I know I'll be getting a bunch of viewers. I always do on new games.
Right.
I'll end up usually above 100, sometimes above 200. And if I could get partnership, I think I might be able to hold these people. But their new thing is you should have 500 average viewers.
Really?
Yeah. That's on their page now.
Wow. Because I know of a channel that literally just got it. It must have been right after that. Because she holds like 200, 300.
Yeah, that was their thing before. They say 200, 300, which I think you can still get in with 200, 300 if you apply.
I was going to say, they still do it, but it's getting harder and harder. They don't want to spam everybody with partnership, right?
Yeah, because if I scroll through here, it says that they've got... Or they're bigger than Hulu now.
Well, let's be honest. Hulu.
Yeah, but I mean, Hulu gets 30 million viewers a month.
Hulu's a good service, but,
They've gone up to 45, so that's good. I can't...
Maybe with them going up in viewers, they'll blacks it a little bit?
I don't know. It's really hard to say because there's a lot of channels streaming now. They're talking about how Twitch is now at 900,000 broadcasters.
Yeah.
And that's 20% of that.
PS4 though. Well,
20% of that is for PS4.
Okay.
And then another probably 20 or 30% would be Xbox One.
Yeah, I mean Xbox One's not out yet, so it'll be interesting to see when that service comes up.
Yeah.
But I mean, they were listing on here. I can't find it anymore, but they were saying roughly how many people they partnered with.
No.
Maybe that was on their actual page, and I've got to go back to that at some point. I don't know. I will try and find the link to put into the video. But they were kind of saying roughly that they're at thousands of sub channels now, and it's getting to be a bit much because a lot of these channels aren't doing anything. I don't know that they're revoking partnership. Like once you have
5,100.
5,100?
Yep. Over 5,100.
So they got 5,100 channels. And I don't know that they're revoking partnership, right? I mean...
Well, let's just say that if like 20% of that's inactive.
Yeah.
That's hurting their margins.
I was flicking through my viewers the other day to see if I had any streamers that watched me. And there's, I think in total, I've got 1,220 followers, and I think there were 3 people in my followers list that had more viewers or more followers than I did. And they're almost all inactive.
Yeah.
Like the last time any of them have done anything was 2 months ago. And it's really weird to see that because I know one of them was a sub channel.
Really?
Because they had almost 200,000 followers.
They're starting to revoke them?
Huh?
Are they starting to revoke subs?
I don't know. If you look at partnership requests, it states that you have to stream. I think it's at least 3 times a week. Certain amount of time. You have to have at least 500 average viewers. However, you can get in if you've got a YouTube channel that's got a certain number of subs on it, and a certain number of video hits every video that you put up.
But I don't think they take it away if you're not meeting those. I think that's just what you need to have to get it.
I don't think they're revoking, and I'd like to say that they should start revoking, but because I'm on a precipice right here, I fall behind right now because there's no games out. So I'm fucking around. But when a new game comes out, like I said, I usually go up to like 200 viewers while that game is relevant, and I'm playing the shit out of it. And then once that game is no longer relevant, I'll drop down to like an average of 40 viewers, then 30, and then I'll come down to roughly where I am at 20 when things have been dead for a while. And things have been dead for like 2 months. There's been nothing really huge that's come out that I can think of.
Well, that's the console transition, right?
Yeah.
Everybody that wanted to release pushed it for summer.
Yeah, so I've got until summer. Like, my rules are I have to quit streaming in June, July if I can't prove that this is worth allowing me to do. That's why I'm going to do a big push. I want to transition the channel over to be a little bit better. I want to push these podcasts out. When we get to our 10th podcast, which is going to be in about 3 months' time, I want to switch it formats. I want to go from what we're doing right now into video so that I can have all 4 people that are a part of that cast on camera talking, so I can cycle between them depending on who's currently relevant, and that will mean my post-production will be cut down probably to 3 or 4 hours from 8.
Oh,
Will give me more time. Like, the last video took me about 8 hours to do.
that's nuts.
I mean, all I did was slap fucking Google Images over
Pictures, yeah.
and that was it. And near the end, you could even see I got a little bit lazy and didn't switch as much. And I'm going to be doing that again tomorrow. And I'll be doing that next Sunday and the Sunday after that. It's just to bring myself into the habit of Sunday is editing day. That's what I'm doing for you guys to get these videos out, that I can get them up. And if this is what people want to see, you need to come to us and tell us this is what you want to see. This is where you want to be at so that I can keep pushing this up for you. But after 10, I want to switch it over to a video format so that I can take the later half of Sunday, where I'm not working on this, and we can work on other things. Whether that's maybe Sunday evening is when I'll try and film scientific gaming, or maybe it's when I'll get a little bit more YouTube videos out for the guys. I don't know. I want to do a big push coming into summer. I still think it's very possible for me to continue streaming. I would love to continue streaming. I mean, if I have to go back to school, I have to go back to school. I won't stop streaming necessarily when I do that, but I'll only be on once or twice a week for a little while.
No.
And I'd rather keep this up. I love hanging out with you guys. I love doing that shit. It's lots and lots of fun. There's always cool games to play, interesting people to meet. Things have been slipping out a little bit lately, but that's because it's been really dead. And
yeah, the market hasn't been...
Yeah, I want to
favorable.
turn Fridays into community days. So every Friday on the stream, I want to play with viewers in some respect. Whether we do what we did the last couple of Fridays and we play GTA and throw in a little bit of Cards Against Humanity and just fuck around, or whether I open up the Minecraft server again to more people and we all get down on that, or if we find maybe a free game or something like that we can, regardless how bad it is, just screw around on. That could be a thing. And I want to try and do that for Fridays. I want to try and get these casts out, and I want to push forward. It's the new year now. Let's stop being fucking lazy. Let's kick some goddamn fucking ass. And, why not? Pass or fail, have fun.
I wanted to mention this before we ended. You said GTA.
Yep.
The maintenance period we had on, what was it, Friday? Thursday? Wednesday or Thursday?
Wednesday, because come Wednesday I was going to play some GTA with the guys. I did, and then Thursday was the Nether Patch, and I had it requested of me to play, and I'm like, yeah, but Nether was in.
Yeah.
I rushed home for that shit, too.
So, I was online whenever, you got a message if you was online playing, and it said you have been kicked from the party by a GTA 5 administrator. Okay, so they're starting maintenance. It was around 9 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah.
And I said, okay, if they're starting maintenance, I'll go goof around on something else. So while I'm waiting, I think I was going to actually go on to Assassin's Creed 4. And while I was waiting for Assassin's Creed 4 to boot up, I decided to go on Twitter. And there were so many people freaking out, oh my god, I've just been banned, oh my god, I've just been banned. And it was hilarious that people don't pay attention. Like, you even go onto Rockstar's website, and they have a news post where they said, we're doing maintenance at 9 p.m. Eastern.
And I knew because I get most of the information I try and put forth into these podcasts from Twitter. Like, I'm just on Twitter scrolling through. If anybody, you guys, or anyone watching this video later knows of any good people to follow on Twitter for gaming news, fucking please tell me. Because I'm just following the big normal things, and I'm getting a little bit of information here and there, but niche markets would be nice to get into. I don't know. But I mean, I knew at like 9 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, I mean, I knew like a few days in advance, so I knew what was going on.
Yeah.
And so, they people were just freaking out. And you go on Rockstar's website where they had like the news post saying, "Hey, we're doing maintenance. Don't freak out." Oh my god, it's a freaking war zone. If people were saying, "Why did I just get kicked from a game by an administrator? I haven't done anything wrong." Blah 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 blah. And I'm like, you guys don't read, do you? Really?
Well, I mean, if something like that happens, if I get kicked out of a game by an admin, I might be like, "What the fuck?" And if I can't get back in,
Well, yeah, that's my initial response. I'm like,
I'll Google it.
what?
Like,
Yeah.
what's going on? And all of the results are going to be maintenance, maintenance, maintenance. Like, who just goes to a forum to bitch without looking?
A lot of
Humans
people,
are natural
apparently.
complainers, though.
Oh, for sure. But I mean, that's just some grade A dumbass shit.
Yeah.
They're super
And
everywhere, though. Like that's fact. And people freak out about the smallest fucking things. It's ridiculous.
Hey, GTA. Hey, where's my heist? I've been in the bank, fuckers. Where's the heist for it?
And now you know the maintenance was about 6 hours.
It was supposed to be 24.
Yeah, and I'm glad it wasn't 24. I'm glad it was around 6 because I was actually having plans for some buds to come over that night and play. But so whenever I got on, I had about $2 billion in my bank account. I mean, I won't be afraid to admit it was given to me, and I just banked it. I'm like, hey, it's money. I'm gonna take it. Not gonna complain. And I was left about 300,000. I'm like, that's fine. Fair enough. I'm not banned, so it's okay.
Yeah, Matt had like 2 trillion.
Yeah, he was even saying more than that whenever I talked to him. He's like 8 trillion. I'm like, oh, okay, you're not banned.
Now he's down to nothing.
Yeah.
Or wait, I'm sorry. He had 100,000, and I murdered the shit out of him, and now he's down to nothing.
And you know, I'm just like, that's fair enough. I'm not banned. I'm not in the cheater pool. It's fine. I can get the money back up. No worries. Oh my god. People were freaking out again. Where's my money? Why did you take my money? I want my money back.
That sucks.
I hacked it.
It's my money, man.
Well, I mean, it takes all of like fucking 15 minutes to pull up your phone in game and blow the money on literally everything you can buy, and then what? You're just purchasing ammo. What the fuck?
Ammo or repairing a vehicle or paying Moore's Mutual. Something like that. I mean,
that's like a few hundred, maybe a few thousand apiece.
Yeah.
Just go do a mission. I don't know. Play the game. Ooh.
I know. So scary. I mean, yeah, it was just ridiculous. But, I mean, it made for some great entertainment.
Yeah, and I don't fucking deny that at all, but it looks like we've surpassed our 2 hour. We're at about 2:04.5 right now, so...
Yeah, not bad.
Yeah, we did good. Well, we went to like 2:06 last time, so it's around 2. Suck a dick. I mean, there's lots of stuff we didn't touch on, just to get people who are interested to know. February 14th, The Last of Us DLC is going to drop. It's a prequel to the game. There's that news about the Valve VR helmet that apparently just destroys the Rift, but it's not going to be released to the public. As far as we know, Valve is sharing tech with Oculus, and they're saying this is where they think it'll be in about 2 years. So it's obvious they're working together. They're just giving us a little taste of what's to come. And it was compared in an article I was reading, like going from an Xbox 360 back to an 8-bit Nintendo game when they went back to the Rift. So as good as we know the Rift is right now, apparently the Valve version destroyed it that badly that I can only be a giddy schoolgirl about what is to come.
One thing I should point out is Valve has actually announced that they aren't trying to compete with Oculus. They're actually working with.
Yeah.
Yep.
So they're not a competition. It's
it's like what I told Jared was.
Yeah.
Is it'd be stupid to go against Oculus.
Yeah.
Well, yes and no. I'd almost like to see it just because when you get more competition in something, will grow faster. But if they're working together, I mean, so long as they're being, good and working together and not being greedy and kind of fucking around with each other, then it can only work out for the best for us, I can hope. But the Oculus and VR is something that is being used in many applications now. It's not just gaming. I touched on this last week. It's going to be like NASA wants to give you a trip to the space station so you can walk around the space station and check it out with the Rift. and they want to use it in schooling, training, automotive, medical, things like that. Like, virtual reality is becoming a thing for all of humanity, and I can only be grateful that I'm fucking around for that. But I suppose we should probably end this, because I'm going to have to edit the ever-loving shit out of it tomorrow. And those are, I guess, the big things that we wanted to talk about. Oh, certain Battlefield's players, because of all the shit they've had going on with Battlefield, are getting Titanfall Alphas, and it's just the weekend one. Apparently they're starting alphas up and betas up that people can apply for now, so...
And the alpha's a crap texture resolution. It's like 25% the final resolution.
Which apparently, when I found out, I'm actually really happy, because I was really dissatisfied with Battlefield 4, so at least I get something out of it. So
Potentially. You never know what you'll actually end up getting at the end of the day. But,
especially since it's EA.
But, as usual, people on the internet who take the time to watch this, thank you very much. If you guys enjoyed it, tell us. We'll keep making them. I do have aspirations to go, like I said, to at least 10 now before we decide if we want to do a video one, or if you guys care at all. If these turned out to just be terrible, it's a bunch of fucking alcoholics sitting around talking about random gaming bullshit and not knowing what they're going on about. If that's truly what you think, let me know, and we'll stop doing it.
Since when am I an alcoholic?
I was going to say, you're making assumptions now. They might be true, but...
You're all alcoholics. On the internet, everyone's an alcoholic and a pedophile. So that's,
and a man.
That's and a child. But that's just how the games work here, people. Tell us what you think. If you enjoyed it, if you didn't, let me know. Tell me what you think we could change, what we need to work on. We are still learning. This is just the second cast. This is our attempts to break into something that, well, some of us occasionally listen to podcasts, maybe a little bit. We've got a long way to go. If you can help us get there, much appreciated. Anyway, thank you guys very much for listening.
Adios, compatriots.
Adios.
See ya.
And that'll be the end of us. So, we'll see you guys at the stream on Monday. And, like I said, if you like it, tell us. We'll pop out a third one next week. Have a good one.
Blah!
It's like a child.
Oh my god.